Hi, everybody. Welcome to FNS Wrestling Podcast, episode 237. It's me. It's my teenage son, Jack, back down in the basement to talk about another week of professional wrestling. Lots to get to this week. We'll quickly recap Saturday night's main event from last week. We'll talk about AEW Dynamite. We'll talk about NXT. We'll talk about some Raw. We'll preview and make predictions for Royal Rumble, time permitting. We are in a bit of a time crunch. You have an appointment to get to. I've got things to do as well. There's timestamps if you want to jump ahead to anything. We'll just talk about stuff briefly here and then move into the actual wrestling talk. Recording a bit early. This will be published on February 1st. Still haven't done my worst of as I say that. I apologize. That should be coming.
Oh, I forgot about that too.
But I've got a busy weekend. We both do, but mine's busier tonight. I am pretty excited. I'm meeting a couple high school friends and heading out to see Sarah Silverman at the casino down in Toronto. So that should be a good time. I'm heading out for dinner with them. And then we're carpooling down to the show. Looking forward to that. And then tomorrow.
Oh, she's from School of Rock.
Yeah, she's hilarious. So you know how I go to a bunch of comedy shows?
Oh, she was in Wreck-It Ralph. Who is she?
So I've been to a couple shows with these guys because Paul.
Yeah, I know you've done.
Paul's
it
my comedy reference. So this is one I'm really.
Oh.
I'll just go if he says to go, even if I don't know the person.
She's the short girl from Wreck-It Ralph, the main one.
Oh,
Penelope.
it could be.
Word.
Really funny, very offside, but funny. So I'm heading to that tonight, and then tomorrow you and I are heading down to the Rec Room, down by the CN Tower, to check out Smash Wrestling's offering.
Bob's Burgers too.
Oh right. And then we're probably going to linger at the establishment, and once they clear it out, and
we're watching the Rumble there. That should be fun. Actually,
I don't know if we'll watch the whole thing or not. We'll see how we feel.
I think we should.
You think we should?
Male Rumble. That's what I'm mainly there for.
And it'll be your first watching wrestling in public
have you done
experience, right? Have we?
Have you?
Have I? Yes, in like a bar and stuff.
I have.
Not since you've been alive, probably, but so a pretty busy weekend for us.
Mm-hmm.
Your mother's concussion recovery took a bit of a hit. She was doing pretty well, and then a good friend of ours who we've worked with for 20 years now was retiring, so made the decision to go to her retirement party. Probably shouldn't have, because she kind of went from doing nothing and seeing nothing and to a busy bar with 25 people all talking.
Yeah, she was telling me that
So
she was like sitting on the other side.
She escaped and basically almost took a nap in the middle of
Guess
the
who
bar.
she plays on Bob's Burgers? Sorry, I'm going down this rabbit hole now.
I don't know.
One of my favorites.
Who?
One of the twins.
Oh, nice. Oh, really? Ollie and
Ollie.
Yeah, nice.
I love them.
Yeah.
They're my favorite.
So yeah, we've got a kind of a busy weekend planned, and we'll update everybody on how that goes obviously next week. But you spent a couple days sleeping over at friend's place, so you were exhausted last night. We were like, we need to watch Dynamite still, and Mom's like, he fell asleep upstairs.
Yeah.
A rare nap for you. Frequent naps for me.
I try not to.
Rare nap for you. So you must have been exhausted. You look pretty good. We're up bushy-tailed and ready to go. So
I just discovered that Band of Skulls is back under a different name.
What do you mean?
Marsden and Richardson. Like they're doing it's both.
The band name is different?
It's just, they're putting music under that name now.
I always said the name was stupid. It was hard to recommend them to people because they heard the name Band of Skulls and they assume a certain thing.
Yeah, and they just remastered that
awesome.
one album I was telling you, the Sweet Sour one, because I've been listening to a few songs on that since it's just been gone forever. Yeah. Like I uploaded Sweet Sour through
the album before that's amazing. I don't remember that one.
Baby Dollface Honey
is amazing.
That's the one that's like, I remember. I think we had both of them on CD, but that was the one that was like the main one.
Like pretty much top to bottom. That's
yeah, I really like it.
A
lot of it
album.
Sounds kind of similar, but
it does
good still.
Yep.
But yeah, so like I was just looking at that because I was looking through YouTube, and I was like, why are they posting things from another band? And I was like, oh no, that's the dude though.
Nice.
So that was kind of weird.
Yeah. I don't know. We should probably get talking about wrestling, and we may have to race through some things to make our time commitments, but we're still down here for the 237th episode. I think only once we've not put one out on a Saturday, if I remember correctly.
I feel like you're right, and I don't remember when
I don't know what one it is
or why it was.
If there's any archivists out there of our program, there's not.
Will Washington?
Let us know. But anyways, let's shift gears, talk about wrestling. It's looking at some of this week's wrestling news and rumors. Okay, so ratings this week. We've got, I started the segment saying, okay, God damn it. Can't stop. Unless I consciously think about it, it just happens. Sorry, people. Probably annoying. Take a drink. I don't know. Is that a drinking game at this point? I say okay to start a segment. Or okay or all right, I think are my, yeah. So NXT, 827,000 viewers, up 1.9. earned a .19 in the key demo. That's down 13.6. Really good numbers for them. It's their third largest number since moving networks, which I know hasn't been that long, but CW has to be thrilled. They're like up over 800,000 every week, which is crazy. Dynamite, to contrast.
Considering they had NWA before, I'm sure they're very happy.
Right? That is a significant upgrade. Dynamite, 604,000 viewers, down 7.8%. 0.17 in the key demo, down 10.5. So, again, these numbers do not include watching on Max. So I don't know how meaningful they are.
It's not horrible.
But it was interesting because they posted a year ago this week, they were over 800,000. And 2 years ago this week, they were over 900,000.
That is crazy.
That is not a trend that I enjoyed seeing. But again, they got
that. Like over the last 2 years, the average length of a women's match has gone up 2 seconds.
So they're very consistent.
Like the past couple years, I think it's been around 8:01, and then
shockingly consistent.
It was like 7:59 in 2022.
Amazing. Yeah. I don't have a ton of news. I have 3 little things, so you go ahead first.
Did you see who was inducted into the Hall of Fame?
Didn't he announce himself first?
He got surprised.
Oh,
apparently.
I thought he announced
Triple
it was him.
H.
Yeah. Who cares? Like, I don't know, man.
I never care about the Hall of Fame. I just talk about it because it's noteworthy.
Yeah, it is.
And that makes sense. That's a good pick. Now that he's
of course
retired, it makes more sense too because like I think the only active Hall of Famer who like got inducted when he was active is Mysterio.
Right.
Because like Edge got inducted, but then he came back. Kurt got inducted, then he came back, right?
It's a logical choice, but it also feels like, oh, you're the boss now. Hey, boss, surprise, you're a Hall of Famer. And
yeah.
It's just like, okay, cool.
I mean, I feel like it was always going to be like that, whether Vince was here or not, because he was always in a power position.
There was a time in my wrestling fandom where he was my favorite wrestler.
Yeah, but then you evolved.
I did evolve. So good for him.
Yeah, it's nice. Like, I don't really care about the Hall of Fame most of the time. Like I think I was kind of excited with Paulie last year just because I love Heyman. He's awesome.
Yeah. I've never really watched any, and I have, and then I was just like, this is pointless.
The
and
only time I watched it, and I didn't even actually watch it. I just watched a bunch of clips. Was Heyman's because I thought he had a good speech.
He would, of course,
right? So like I watched clips of his last year, and apparently they're looking to restructure how they do it because last year they went with him first because he was the headliner, and then a bunch of people left after him.
Yeah, you're supposed to headline with the headliner. That's how it works.
So yeah, like I think they're restructuring it. So like I think Triple H is the headliner. I would assume he goes last, and like that would be. Probably a smart play.
I'm stealing this one from you. MLP Wrestling announces Toronto debut, and I will try to obtain tickets. So if you hear they're going on sale, let me know. So Sunday, May 11th at the Mattamy Athletic Center, which used to be Maple Leaf Gardens.
And then they have a show on the road there, which is in Windsor, though. It's at the St. Clair College, which is where like Impact's done stuff.
So I will try and get tickets for that one. Capacity's listed between 2,600 and 3,000, depending on the event. So a good sized venue. Hopefully.
They've been advertising Baron Corbin too. I was telling you.
Yeah. Hopefully. Sorry, what's his new name?
This time he's something else. He's not using his real name.
So I'm hoping tickets are available and not crazy expensive. It'll be interesting to see what they're charging for tickets, to be honest, because that last show was really good. So I'm hopeful.
They bring Takesh down there
for sure. I'm gonna get tickets, hopefully, regardless.
Yeah. Then probably one of the bigger things this week was JD McDonough.
Wow.
He's out with broken ribs and a punctured lung after whacking off the announce table after a springboard moonsault on Ivar. And you absolutely just bam into it. And that thing doesn't move.
And you said you're going to go back and watch it because it was a really good match. I'll talk about it when we get to Raw. I was texting you saying I was a bit annoyed just because
he put in a performance.
He did. I was telling you, he got hurt very early on, and then that match continued, and he would keep like clutching his sort of midsection chest.
He was doing
just
like
figured he was selling
and like
taking offense, like Ivar sitting on him.
Well, yeah, War Raiders aren't like light,
and it's too bad. It annoyed me a bit because you can't. They've taken it out of the hands of the athletes in the NFL, and I think that has to be. You can't just ask them, are you okay? Because they're always going to say yes, right? So now there's protocols in the NFL. If you take a blow to the head, you're going into a little blue tent or whatever, and you're going through a screening process. You can't just say, hey, JD, are you good? And he's like, yep, I'm good. Because my thing is, who knows? Maybe he didn't sustain all that damage at once. Maybe he kept wrestling and it got worse.
The ribs are at least off the impact.
I can't believe there wasn't a concussion. The way his head flew back and he hit the desk. But anyways.
Yeah, I think this is probably better than getting a concussion. Like with all
it is. Watching your mom try to recover from one.
Right.
You'll definitely know when you're better from these other things, right?
Yeah.
Whereas
so
a concussion, you don't really
exactly.
know.
One like positive for me is that like it seems to be getting him, I was telling you, a lot of recognition and a lot of people are like giving him props for that. And so I was saying if they capitalize on this, like bodes well for his return. Like there's at least a chance this helps his standing, right?
I hate that that's the culture of wrestling, but at the same time, actually of sports in general, I shouldn't just say wrestling. This whole like you've got to play hurt, but I mean he's a badass. There's no doubt.
Like a lot of people.
No
I saw Tommy Dreamer post about it, which is random, right? Like
to have, if you haven't seen it, to know, because I don't watch things live, as you know, so I knew what his injuries were, and I watched that match going, how is he doing this?
Right, like
so
once you know, I think it gives.
Apparently, broken ribs are incredibly painful,
right?
Like every breath you take,
especially when he did the moonsault, right? So I think a lot of people are definitely recognizing that. And so for me, as like we've been fans of him for forever. Basically. I think since he probably rocked up in that first tournament, I'm really. Obviously, I hope he gets back soon, but I'm hoping this means good things for him because he's kind of been the fall guy for Judgment Day since he got here.
And in case you're wondering, McAfee did take a shot at his head being big.
Because naturally, that's what you do.
And even, I think it was Cole, because Cole, you could tell in the moment, knew that this wasn't good. So he was like, something about like, and we're not even joking, or all joking aside, even though McAfee was like, oh, it's his giant head. And apparently, I think it was, what's his name, Doc, whatever, in one of the post things said something about like he's more worried about the table or something because of big head.
Yeah.
So just like they can't help themselves.
McAfee can't help himself.
Just the low hanging fruit. They love to harvest that low hanging fruit, and it's awful.
Anyways, I hope he's better, and I hope it means better things for him.
Yeah.
Because I would like him to get like an IC title run or something, right?
Yeah.
Like he's talented enough. They just need to give him that chance.
He's fantastic.
Like, him and Balor are both fantastic. They just haven't been getting chances lately.
If you cared about the tag division, they'd be an awesome team together.
They would have been, but they were tag champs for like however long.
And they don't really. And that was just like
War Raiders is good if they're trying to rebuild, right?
Yeah,
like
they were just an ornament in a faction that was really big,
pretty much
at that time. Speaking of injuries, Hobbs mentions it on Dynamite. He is actually injured
again
during the brawl on last Saturday's Collision with Big Bill.
That's not good.
The plan was to have him do another brawl on Dynamite, which would then lead to a street fight on Collision. The actual injury is unknown.
Hopefully it's not major, because that would not bode well for him.
No, and potential return date is unknown. So I'm hoping, because he's just in the midst of
when he just came back.
A push is strong, but he's gotten more attention for sure than usual and looked really good. So I hope that it's quick and he's back before they sort of forget that, this guy's a pretty cool monster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So in the midst of multiple contracts being done, people leaving, apparently it was TNA management believed that numerous talents were being paid too much, like on deals that I think D'Amore had offered.
Yeah.
So I'm going to assume that extends to Alexander and Jordan Grace.
Yeah.
These people where it's like, yeah, you're great, but we're paying you too much, so if you don't want the pay cut, then get out.
I heard Gresham's gone, too.
Gresham is gone. I've seen that, yeah.
So I wonder he'll go... Well, he would want to go where Grace goes, I assume.
I would assume. I don't know if they would want him, because his style's not very WWE, and he's also the smallest man
They're
ever.
teasing a debut in NXT this week, so maybe... I don't know if it'd be him or somebody.
Or if it's just her.
He's awesome in the ring, but it is tough to see where he fits in WWE land. He's not
that much of a character, dude.
And he's tiny.
Yeah.
Like 5'3", 5'4".
That octopus thing was weird.
And like just a super technician, which also isn't their favorite style to push,
that,
right?
No.
So is it me or you?
It's you.
So the only other thing I had is another injury. Jake something out of action. Another undisclosed injury, but he actually stated himself on social media that he'll probably need to undergo surgery. So that doesn't sound like something that'll be quick. He's another guy I think that is perfect for TNA that they don't necessarily use to their full potential.
I wish they brought him in when Femi was North American champion.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can even do that now, but...
So hopefully he heals well. I enjoy Jake something in.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yep, and that's all I have for news.
Multiple people have been spotted in Indianapolis, where the Rumble is. Omos is rumored back.
Oh, of course.
Vacker.
In a Rumble, that's perfect for
Vacker, Perez, and Lash Legend have also been spotted.
Lash Legend also. She got
that makes sense in based on what they've been doing lately.
She got a bit of the star treatment this week.
Well, they've even had her and Jakara popping up on main roster, right? They were on the last Saudi show, I think it was.
And I seen Jordan Grace has gone out of her way to be like, I will not be in whatever the city the Rumble is. Like, okay.
She's like been
sure.
number one rumored for there, right? Then there's going to be, they announced a Clash in Paris for August 31st. I think it's basically like Clash at the Castle, except there's no castle.
I'm kind of hyped for those international crowds, man. They add to
Paris was the one that was really great last year.
Yeah.
Right? So I just wish they would just give them like a normal pay-per-view, though. I don't like when they cater the name to...
I know.
I liked Clash at the Castle for the Cardiff one, or even Scotland one, just because it's
to have that alliteration.
That, and it's just kind of I like that's like a nod to the place, but it's not. And for me, I like when they have consistent shows every year, so then it's not as hard to figure out. Because then it's like, so this is in August. What was the August show last year?
No idea.
Exactly.
Although I'm not a great barometer for.
But it was Bash in Berlin, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Yeah.
So
sounds familiar.
And it's a little similar to Clash in Paris, but it's just, I don't know. I like the consistency. I don't mind them having like a few different shows, right? Like.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
Having Great Balls of Fire is fine.
You just wanted to say that.
And that's it.
Get that on the record again.
Yeah. But so that's cool. The Paris is a smart one. I think they should definitely go back to Puerto Rico too, because that was Backlash last year was France, like Paris, but then Backlash 23 was the Puerto Rico one with Bad Bunny and Damian Priest.
Right.
That was also a hot crowd, I remember.
Well, it's funny something like that might come up in trivia. I think we'll see today.
Interesting. And then finally, Kiera Hogan's close to an AEW return.
Oh, I forgot she was.
I feel
gone.
like it's a more likely ROH return.
That's crazy, and I think so too. She's someone that I liked her in TNA, and I feel like she's one of those that kind of plateaued, right? Because I was like, oh, she's getting pretty good, and blah blah blah, and then it was just A, maybe plateaued, and B, her visibility was just.
She's
gone.
Also maybe someone who would have been better off in TNA.
I agree. I think she
or in NXT
would fit there better for sure.
Yeah.
That's everything?
Yeah.
All right, so we'll take a quick detour before we get into the regular stuff, and because we got to go back in time to last Saturday night, we'll quickly run through what was it was okay. It was a quick thing to get through anyways. We'll talk about Saturday night's main event. Okay, so not quite a turbo review, but I'm going to go through it pretty quickly. The opener, I don't think you saw the opener. You saw some things, but you'll remind me. Nia Jax, possibly her best match that I can remember against Rhea Ripley. Might have been 10 minutes long. I actually thought it was good. And I know you'll never say that about a Nia Jax match, I don't think. But this, again, because they keep these matches short, there's no wasted time. They worked a very good pace. Remember I told you Nia Jax at 1.25 speed was still slow? That was not the case here. I'm going to be fair, right? So she looked like a believable powerhouse here. Ripley ended up winning as we expected. So I don't know if it helps Nia Jax because she did lose clean to a Riptide after about maybe 10 minutes, probably under, but really over-delivered because I was like, are you putting Nia Jax in an opener? Like, what are we doing here? Similar to putting her as first in the, what was that?
War Games. And that was the opener.
So, yeah, I was pretty impressed with this, and this is how you need to use her, I would suggest, because I don't know if it's chemistry with Ripley or whatever, but definitely as good as Jax has looked, I think. Then we had Braun Breaker and Sheamus. Breaker wins again. I thought a very good Intercontinental title match. And that's saying something because it feels like this is not a fresh matchup at all. Like these guys have been in each other's orbit for quite a while.
Since Survivor Series, at least, when they did the three-way with Kaiser.
But I would say these guys do have good chemistry, and they're just willing to beat the hell out of each other, right? Sheamus got a really good near fall with a brogue kick. Braun got his foot on the ropes. Remember, he actually kind of landed in a really good position for that. You were watching this one now, I remember. The big spot was it Sheamus coming off the steps?
Yeah.
And Braun catching him with a spear looked absolutely incredible. Like, I don't think he could have executed that
any better. It was really
better.
clean, yeah. And just like it was like the one where you get a good, like, in the middle of the air.
Just a complete thud, and you can see Sheamus's momentum just completely.
That's what I like, right?
Yeah.
When you can see the momentum just caught in reverse.
Yes. So I enjoyed this. I thought it was quite good. Do they run this back at Mania?
Yeah.
Do they give Sheamus his moment?
Yes. I think you give Sheamus his moment for sure, and I don't see any point in Breaker losing it before Mania.
Doesn't it feel like a stop along the way as something happens in the Rumble between these two?
I could see that happening, yeah. And
which I like, because I like when you use Battle Royals to further things, right?
The amount of things they've set up for the Rumble, the amount of things they've set up to happen,
great,
they're
honestly.
lining up and all. I think, honestly, Triple H might listen, because people have criticized him as not booking great Rumbles, and I think
if they execute what it looks like, they could.
I think we're on the cusp of a great Rumble.
Don't even care about who's winning. I'm just saying all of the stuff going on.
Well, because, yeah, like, think about it real quick. You have Rollins and Roman, which has been a thing since Mania,
forever.
at least, but obviously also forever. Roman and Sami are obviously aligned, but, like, Sami, he seems to be kind of conflicted.
Punking everybody.
Drew and everybody. Cody. Oh, wait, no, Cody's not there. But, like, Sami's been accidentally hitting Rollins and Cody. Like you have so many different things. Like you have Punk and Cena even.
Like
and
you've really
Cena
worked your top tier of talent.
Yeah,
really
even just
smartly.
like because Cena's obviously not been here, but Cena has history with a bunch of people, so that's interesting. Cena and Rollins, right? And then you have like newer guys like Breaker and Penta's in there, which I'm really excited about.
Yep.
Nakamura is there.
Being wasted.
Yeah, Jey Uso.
As always.
I guess also his history with a bunch of people. So I don't know. There's going to be a lot of interesting things for sure.
And Uso's punchy, kicky offense will fit better in a Rumble setting, which I'll mention at the end of this little segment. I mention it because I thought it was good. The contract signing with Owens and Cody Rhodes with
Owens is great.
Owens to me stole this segment. He is amazing. He's wearing that.
Cody's the same every time.
He's wearing the Cody sucks eggs, which is a throwback to Funk, right? I think.
Yeah,
and
Dusty
Dusty
sucks eggs. His t-shirt game's been on point.
So Cody says a little bit to start. Cody things I didn't really make a note of, but then Owens starts just dropping truth bombs, right? Like, because I think Rhodes accuses Owens of like always taking the easy way out, and Owens is like, one, didn't take the easy way out at Bash in Berlin because I could have gone after your knee and I didn't. And by the way, you took the easy way out when things got hard in WWE because you left, and like Owens is like, I stayed.
You could argue remember the finish at main event last time when he hit the crossroads on a chair, so you could argue that's the easy way out too.
Right. And then you've got Owens is like making so many good points. Cody, babyface, quote unquote, Cody is like, enough. You know what I mean? And just like doesn't really have anything to say.
It's like a classic YouTuber, like a shitty YouTuber apology where like they're facing, because I know, so like for example, there's been a few YouTubers like sometimes they get busted for talking to minors or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And there's the one girl, and she did this YouTube apology, and it was it's all these serious things about like grooming. Like I just saw him pop up, so we'll say like Velveteen Dream.
Yes,
right?
I just watched a video about.
Do you see his new shirt where it's like a bunch? So sorry to detour again, but it's basically a shirt with a bunch of wrestlers' mugshots, and it said "guilty by association." And then someone commented, "But none of them were talking to minors." So
nice.
Like I think Roman was on there. I'm sure the Usos were there, right? But anyway, she's had like a similar thing with some of her like minor fans, and it's like the serious thing, right? But she does an apology like with a ukulele.
Oh,
like,
I've seen that. Yes, I have seen that.
But she never. It's one of those ones where she never addresses a specific.
Of course not.
Accusation towards her, and just like
because there's people that might be watching
haters or
that
like
don't know what she did.
Right, exactly. And so it's like Cody, Kevin's making all these valid points, and he's just like, "No, you betrayed me."
Yeah, and so he's like signs it and tells Owens to sign it. Owens says he's the rightful WWE champion, and everything Cody got when he and I thought like Owens' intensity and stuff here, like you could feel it. It felt real to me. Everything Cody got when he came back, it's coming to Owens because that's what he deserves after the last 10 years, and he is taking it from him. And I was like, damn, this feels real to me, right?
I wish he was going to.
And then Shawn Michaels is an idiot and is like, Kevin, you sound jealous. Like, what? And that's Owens. Owens is like, what did you just say? Like, how is that your role in this to like call out Kevin Owens?
Yeah.
And Owens is like, of course you'd side with Cody since you quit too, didn't you? Which I thought was awesome. He said Michaels is jealous that Owens has brought more pride to this titles than Michaels ever did. And when he wins the Royal Rumble, he'll give everyone a champion to look up to and a champion who won't lose his smile, which was great too. Owens finally signs the contract, push it into Shawn Michaels' chest. Michaels wants a handshake. Owens refused. Michaels shook hands with Cody. Owens then punches Cody in the face with a cheap shot. And then he obviously grabs Shawn Michaels, teases a pile driver. Cody steps in, kicks Owens, and then Owens is down, tries to get back up, and Michaels has to, of course, hit the sweet chin music. And Shawn Michaels is terrified of his big bald head being on TVA. He's like grabbing for the hat as he's about to take moves and stuff, which is funny. But Owens is awesome. Is there any chance Owens wins? No, right? Okay. Is it a 0% chance?
I don't think so, but I don't think it's big enough where I'm like picking him, not to spoil. But like we're in Mania season 2. The world title rarely changes hands, and even rarer when it's Cody, I think.
I agree.
And I think we're setting up Cody Cena as the big match.
Could we get to Sammy and Owens at Mania?
I think so. And that's also why I think Owens isn't winning.
Could we get to Michaels and Owens at Mania?
Not impossible.
As I say it with an audible sigh.
Considering Austin came back and that was horrible, I don't think it's impossible.
Yeah, I hope not.
But I don't think Michaels will come back other than Saudi money, because that was also horrible.
Yeah. So Jacob Fatu has a match with Strowman. He ends up looking like a beast.
The promo before the match, though.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Like he's he's walking down the hall with Tama Tonga.
I forgot about
he
this.
Cuts this like. It's just his promos are so good.
Yes.
He's got some aura about him. Just the way he speaks is different. Like he's just like he even said like not nobody like me, which is kind of stupid. But like I'm just
he's
like
got
I don't even
this
care.
Style the way he talks,
and like the
Kinda
thing
like,
he says
in a
like,
different way,
mean or something like that.
But like Javon Evans has his own stuff
He's
that you
just-
believe that that's how he talks in real life.
Yeah, and like he's clearly insane, but not in a way where he's like an idiot. He's like he's
a-
still up there.
He's a
you know?
cerebral savage, I think. Even though I
Yeah.
don't like giving the Samoan guys the savage thing. That's a
He
WWE
is, though.
trope.
And like we said this before, but he is everything that Solo's not.
And so
and these he's cut a few promos like these in recent weeks.
he
right?
has,
Since Solo's
where
been
he's just
out.
walking and yelling.
But
It's
like
great.
in one of these promos, he's got so much more potential and aura
Than
and
Solo?
everything
Oh
about
my
him than
God.
Solo. It's like they spent years crafting this persona for Solo, and he was kind of cool as the silent heater for Roman.
But it's like
but Fatu is the revelation,
it was like square peg in round hole with Solo.
especially when they went Tribal Chief with Solo. Like it was not there. If it was Fatu, like this is the guy it should have been.
Fatu is what they wanted Solo to be.
Fatu is what they've always wanted, and they should have had him sooner.
And despite Braun Strowman not cooperating at all here, Fatu still looked like a
Kinda
monster.
got the Bronson Reed booking.
Because there was, 6 or 7 hip attacks, and Braun was
Braun was
not
just kind of like he was a little too low.
too
the
low.
way
He was
used
not
to.
interested in getting hit with any of them until
Yeah.
they figured out like a better camera angle, right? Eventually. So I did not like that, but that's not Fatu's fault.
Yeah. that was
Then he
something
starts
on-
hitting moonsaults to him as well, which is
just-
awesome.
He's so insane.
It
like,
was basically the Bronson Reed treatment with
I
Rollins.
really
and it works.
Really hope we find a way to. Well, for Roman at Mania, I either want Roman versus Rollins because that's never going to be bad.
No,
And I think it makes sense.
I feel like that's possible.
I'm okay
Because
with that,
Rollins has mentioned him a lot.
and Rollins seems like kind of turning heel. I don't care if Rollins works heel. That's fine by
No,
me.
I don't care.
And also he brought up the best at Roman in that one match from the Rumble
True.
a couple years back.
True.
Love that match. Or I want Roman and Fatu.
Yeah,
Because Fatu, I want Fatu in a Mania match. That's 100%.
but he won't beat Roman, and he needs to keep
I
momentum.
I think
think
they
he
should
might?
do that.
Roman is kind of being minimized right now
Right,
in
and I
terms of
think-
presence.
I don't think losing to Fatu hurts Roman. I think it only helps him. It's kind of like Ospreay and Fletcher. I view it as that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Ospreay and Roman are made dudes. Roman especially, if you want to go with WWE, because
100%.
Roman's he's the guy now. He's what Vince
Fatu is
he's what Vince
undeniable.
always wanted him to be, right?
Yes.
The guy.
That I doubted it for many years.
Right. And then
But he
Fatu is someone who is legit, but he needs to be legitimized more within like kayfabe, right?
Mhm.
So I think him beating Roman would only further his star power and not damage Roman in any way,
Yeah.
right? Because especially if we've built Fatu as this mega monster, which they've been doing, right? And they've kind of kept him and Roman apart mostly.
Mhm.
Then I think it makes sense for Roman to lose him. It's not like he's losing to Solo clean,
Yeah.
which would never happen and didn't happen.
So there was no finish to this. Braun bled, which was kind of cheesy. And my only other note was like, stop making Braun Strowman run. Remember you were watching it and like,
He ran out of the ring like 3 times, and it was such a bad idea. every
especially
time.
because Braun Breaker and Kaiser now do it, right? And they run like normal humans who
Especially
can
if,
run.
like, if
who
you want
have
to compare
functioning-
Breaker because he's big. Like Kaiser's not a big dude, right?
No.
So, but Breaker's like, not as big as Braun, but he's a muscly guy. He's a bigger dude.
Yes.
So, and he's just full sprinting, like.
And Braun is like a light jog, and it looks like it's painful for him every step of the way. So find something different to do with him. But yeah, so
It's not his thing anymore.
this match that wasn't really a match, but it was just more of a making Fatu look like a monster. Just wish Strowman had cooperated a little bit more.
Yeah,
on
the match
hip
itself, I didn't
attacks,
really care for. I'm just happy to see Fatu being
Yep.
Fatu.
Then main event, I don't think you watched it because I went back and watched it later. Gunther defeated Jey Uso. Longest match of the night. I think it was like 16 minutes. Good match because of Gunther, but pretty much another glaring example of Uso like kicks, punches, Samoan drops, and that's all you're going to get from him.
He's not good.
Right? He can't wrestle, man. Like, I'm going to say it. He cannot singles, I guess, somehow in tag matches.
One of the best tag teams ever.
But like, and Gunther's just incapable of a bad match, right?
Well,
So
and
that's what
I
happened
was watching it back like the other week. I don't remember why, but I was watching some Uso promos and just the flow and vibe that
The
they
Uso
had together.
penitentiary era was
Are there-
sweet.
There's the couple promos. There was the one they had the promo battle at the New Day. It was remember
Awesome.
they had the tag title match, and it was when the Usos were about to break the record.
Yeah.
And so that was the match, and that was just so good. And then one of my favorite promos from the Bloodline days was the one they had against Judgment Day, where Jey Uso's like running off people, and Jimmy just the way the back and forth they would have was so
Yes.
good. It was like Fod 2 promos where they just had a thing to them, and they can't do that. Like I feel like Jay tries to do that where he's like, he'll say something and then he's trying to have that kind of flow.
Yeah.
I can see him trying to do it, but it's not the same without Jimmy there. And like their promos were heel Usos were just
good,
so good.
They were like even must-watch TV. I wasn't really watching a lot then.
They were one of the heels I got really into when I was younger too.
So, and I guess the main event name refers to the fact that he's in main events, not that he ever wins any.
The main event name came when he first feuded with Roman in 2020.
It makes
right?
the whole thing a joke.
Yeah, like he's not a main event guy.
It's like ironically named main event.
It's like you're telling, not showing, and you're trying to force that perception on me as well.
So match was good, kind of despite Jey Uso, not because of him. So the whole show, kind of like last time, because I don't watch it live and I can skip all of their meaningless company promotion. I can skip all the celebrity worship of 20, people I don't know who they are. It becomes easily digestible for me.
Celebrity worship has gone up since they've been in Netflix.
Huge.
It's crazy.
Huge. Nothing outstanding. Like it was kind of like a 3.5 matches the whole way through, kind of basically, which is not a waste of my time. Again, there's nothing I'm going to get excited about and say, oh, you've got to go out and see it. This segment of the contract signing I thought was really good too. So top to bottom, a pretty solid show. Like easily digestible is my thing, I guess. So those are my thoughts on Saturday night's main event. And now we should probably get into our most in-depth thing every week. That is taking a look at this past Wednesday night's episode of AEW Dynamite. I have a fresh coffee. I'm ready to listen to you describe Dynamite, and I will offer my opinions.
All right.
Do that now. Nope. That's you. You can say all right. I did not. Only because in between segments I made a mental note not to and said it out loud. So
not to what?
Manifested it. Say what you said.
What did I say?
I don't know.
Okay, so we start off with I think Brian Cage again, right? 'Cause didn't he open? No, he didn't open last week. He opened the week before last.
You mean
week.
Zangief?
Zangief.
He just brings the chest hair back. He's got it.
He does have it.
He's a crazy looking person, man.
He is a person who looks insane.
Because we have pictures with him, right? And I'm standing beside him. So he's my height, maybe a tiny bit shorter. And like basically almost another 100 pounds on me of just pure muscle.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
He's insane.
Sure, it's totally natural. Wink.
Callis grabbed the mic at the beginning and he said he had something to tell Ospreay. We cut to the Tron and Omega is backstage, having been beaten down. Cage jumps Ospreay from behind. Ospreay, he gets up on the barricade, good balance. He jumps off and gets caught in a suplex position from Cage. He then walks around the ring and hits a delayed vertical suplex in front of the announce table. So he comes around the ring to the other side and then suplexes him in front of Callis.
I'm assuming that is. I have a note that just says Cage is stupid strong, and I assume that's what it refers to. Yeah.
Cage got him in a bear hug at one point. Ospreay booted him off the apron, hit a Sasuke special to the outside. Outside in superplex from Cage for 2, which always looks sick as well. Ospreay counters out of a powerbomb, hits a pair of hook kicks. Cage blocks an Oz cutter, hits a ripcord rolling elbow and a lariat, and then a sit-out powerbomb for 2. Avalanche F5 from Cage for 2, which is pretty sweet. Ospreay won when he countered a discus lariat and hit a Styles Clash for the win.
Styles Clash again, eh?
Yeah.
It's the second time, I think.
Yeah. Archer attacks him after the bell. Archer and Cage beat Ospreay down until Omega makes a save with a chair. They stand off for the Murder Machines, and they don't learn their lesson because Fletcher and Takeshita attack them from behind
with some sweet pants on Takeshita.
Yeah. Fletcher and Takeshita hit. Fletcher hit a tombstone to Ospreay, and Takeshita hit a bastard driver on Omega simultaneously.
Yeah.
The beatdown kind of kept going. The music would play, and then they would beat him down a bit more. Then the music would play, they'd beat him down a bit more. Just it was kind of funny.
So why am I noticing wardrobe? Because I was going to comment to...
He's got those nice baggy pants that he has, the pirate kind of swashbuckler
And even
pants.
NXT, I noticed that I thought Fallon Henley's gear looked really good. And also Lasha and Jakara Jackson have stepped up there. Because they're main roster.
Adjacent.
Yeah, a very good word. Anyway, satisfying opener, I thought. Cage just doing what he does, right? Hitting offense like a video game character. And then... because his stuff looks so good, Ospreay's going to look resilient fighting through it. And yes, people who hate this style are going to be like, oh my God, you're hitting Avalanche F5s. And I get it. But it doesn't bother me. I don't know what to tell you, right? The outcome was never in doubt, which will be a refrain on this show, unfortunately, a little bit. But the match was really fun to watch, right? And Callis is circling back to supervillain status, which
is good.
Suits him, and he's one of the best at doing it. So I'm happy to see that. Yep. I thought it was a good match. All the aftermath is a logical way to further this program. And again, heading into what, in our opinion, will be an iconic tag match. So
Yeah.
I thought this was well executed.
I just hope we get some tension between them at some point, because right now they're just getting their asses handed to them.
But I thought this was a logical step, I guess.
Yeah.
A good use.
Yeah, it was a good opener. Good one to start us off for sure. Ospreay puts in another great performance, and I think Cage is just sick. Some of his power moves are pretty insane. Just like walking with a suplex was pretty crazy. He's never gonna win, as pretty much always the case with him.
It is. It really is.
But he's one of those dudes for me that's just super fun to watch, regardless. So I don't really mind, because it's kind of where he's pigeonholed.
It is. This is his role.
Unless we boost up him and Archer as a tag team, then different story. You know. I'm surprised Ospreay won with the Styles Clash, but again, given the way that I think that he seems to think with certain things, I wonder if he's doing that to dispel the people who are complaining about him using that as like not a transitional move, but you know what I mean,
just
like,
a signature rather than a finisher,
right? Like a move that gets constantly kicked out of, because like he's always conscious of that kind of thing. Like when he put over Swerve, I always point to that, right? Like when he put over Swerve to change perception. So I wonder if, like, because he won with this against Fletcher last time. And then here, I don't mind if it's like lower matches like this. I don't think it's like, because Cage doesn't really matter.
No.
So if he loses to the
No
Styles
offense.
Clash, it's fine. I don't love that he beat Fletcher with it, just because I feel like
Fletcher should take more.
He deserved better.
Yeah.
But I do feel like it's him trying to like be like, it can finish people off for him, and it's not like he's.
I
just
like
kinda
when people have
weakening it.
multiple finishers.
Yeah, and I think that's fine. It's just
more realistic, right?
It's just the only issue with this is because he's been using it for a while. It's like if Roman started randomly winning with a Superman punch here and there.
As if maybe 10 of them.
Because it's an orange punch.
That's
and we
right.
know how many of those it takes to win a match.
Yes.
But yeah, the post match stuff was solid. Makes Fletcher and Takeshita look strong. I think next week we need to put Omega and Ospreay up against Murder Machines and set up some tension between them.
I think that's a logical step.
They're the Omega Powers now.
I've heard them called Omega Powers, which is one of those, because I've said on here, it's like the Mega Powers, and still didn't make that. Disappointed in both of us a little bit.
Very disappointed.
Because words are our thing, and neither of us grabbed that.
I know, I love that, but yeah, we need to start like kind of. It's where I would say that they shouldn't coexist, but let's get that going.
Yeah, I would have preferred that Ospreay and Omega were not so on the same page right away, because it went from I will never trust you to I
should have trusted you from the beginning.
I didn't trust you implicitly. Yeah, so a bit harsh there, but again, the payoff is going to be a heck of a match. So
that is true.
I am forgiving.
Greatest tag match ever.
Wow.
Then we get Hangman. I didn't know what to call it other than the right Hangman, so that's what I did.
So I guess he's looking for Swerve and coming out as Swerve.
We'll see.
Yeah.
So yeah, Renee's outside of Swerve's locker room looking to interview him, but he's not here, as we'll find out later. Hangman walks into the room to check, and he comes back out saying Swerve's not there. Hangman walks away. Renee's following him, asking him what's going on. She asks about Christopher Daniels, and he said he can't talk about that right now. He bumps into MJF on his way out. Then they kind of have a bit of a standoff, and then Hangman walks off. Renee then talks to MJF, and he says Hangman walks around like he's king. He gets loved. He does nothing wrong. MJF said he won't let anybody ruin his mood, and he'll prove his word as prophecy, and Jarrett will learn the hard way. Sometimes it's better to make a deal with the devil, yada, yada. He said that the other week. He said Jarrett will have to deal with Claudio alone because he didn't accept his offer, and it's one he can't refuse, even though he did refuse it, so therefore he can refuse it.
Yeah, he literally refused it.
It has been refused. I thought it was fine. I'll touch on MJF first because I care about it less. I'm not thrilled he's still involved with Jarrett.
I thought he wasn't. I guess that's dirt sheet crap where it was like, remember I texted you, like,
Yeah.
Apparently he doesn't want to do it anymore.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but
yeah.
I'm not thrilled he's still involved with Jarrett. It's good they're teasing a Hangman feud, though, but he's still on about Jarrett. I really enjoyed Hangman again. Him looking for Swerve is interesting. My theory being the incident with Daniels has opened his eyes, and he's starting to change again. He's trying to find Swerve to either, like, apologize or find closure or something. Like, it's some sort of reconciliation, I feel like. And I think we're seeing the beginnings of him finding his old self again.
Yes.
And getting back on cowboy shit.
It's almost like he really did want to take out Daniels, but now that he has, he's kind of like...
Well, I think it's just like...
reflecting on that, because he's thoughtful.
It's like the Joker line is, all it takes is one bad day for someone to go mad, right? And I think that was when Swerve went into his house, right? And I think since then, he's just been on that crusade to get payback on Swerve. And so that just facilitated his descent into madness over the last year or so. And that was climax when he burned Swerve's house down and then kicked his ass in a cage, right? And then I think that he just kind of continued on that path because that didn't quench his thirst. It just kind of fueled the fire,
Right.
so to speak.
Yep.
And
No
then
pun
I
intended.
think, yeah, and then I think it kind of changed when he ended up killing someone that he's like, I guess, has history with and is close with, right?
Yeah.
In Daniels. And so I think that's kind of changed him, and now he's maybe going back to the Hangman we know and love.
And wrestlers go from being monstrous heels to faces all the time. So what I like is that Paige can really sell the subtlety in between, like the transition from that to that.
Well, I think, yeah, he's
Instead
doing
of
a
just, like,
gradual change both ways, right? So
instead
that
of,
it
like,
makes sense.
He went away for a while and now he's back in a baby face, or it's like a sudden 180 that you don't really see the motivation for.
Yeah, it's making it make sense so that's not like, oh, wasn't he a monster last year? It's
Right.
like, yeah, but then this and this.
It's just to take away that abruptness if you're paying attention and sort of see. And Paige is so good at the subtlety part of character work that he can make complicated
Yeah.
stuff like this work.
I thought even the
agree.
way that he was not wanting to talk about Daniels is definitely
Oh yeah, even
great
that,
too.
like,
You can tell it's just like he's still kind of shaken up about that.
yeah, I think that's exactly what I read into it as well. So I didn't really understand the need for this because, again, I was hoping,
Other than the Hangman part, I would say.
yeah, I was hoping MJF was done with Jarrett too, but obviously not.
I guess it sets up an out for him with Hangman as well. And like I said, when Hangman goes back to babyface, that'll be great. And then he has a feud with Ultra Mega Heel MJF.
Yes.
So that also benefits him. And like, I think
And we've said this company needs a super strong top of the card babyface.
Hangman was once that.
And Hangman can be that.
He has been that. He can be that.
Yes.
I think he should be that. And give him his old team back, get the mustache gone, and
Yeah.
we're good.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm excited to have real Hangman back. I mean, I have loved heel Hangman. I think he's been fantastic.
There he is.
I've really liked his heel work, actually. And I remember I was hesitant at first.
Yeah.
But I think, like, in general, like we're saying, he's a great character.
He's a excellent wrestling actor, right?
Yeah.
So he can do whatever.
And so I am excited because I think, to me, when I think of Hangman, I still think of the anxious millennial cowboy that was fighting the elite.
Yep.
That is what he wore when he won the title.
Yep.
But like, yeah, I'm just excited to see where this goes. And I like, he's like Owens. He's realistic and everything makes sense with him. And regardless, like, some of the AEW stories right now are, this is definitely one of the ones I'm up on because it's Hangman's. That's why he's also such a crucial guy for a company, because he's a guy who can sell a great story when
And it doesn't
you
have to
one,
be
right?
for a belt.
Doesn't have to be
necessarily.
for a belt, and he's great at telling the realism of it and just character work. Like, he's a great character for this company. And like, I think every major story he's been in, I've really liked. Like, I love the Elite storyline, obviously. This Moxley Blackpool feud was great. The Swerve feud is an all-timer, right? Like, I just think all his major programs are just dynamite.
He does not disappoint.
Exactly. Then we get a quick Hobbs promo. He says he wasn't cleared to come to Dynamite, but like what he said on Collision, he and Big Bill are going to hell, and when he's back, he'll show him hell. It's just the beginning.
Yeah, it was just what we said in the news. He is actually hurt, and pause until I can come back and deal with
Pretty
Big
much.
Bill.
It was solid but basic stuff.
Poor timing for Hobbs, unfortunately.
Yeah, for sure. It's a solid Hoss feud with him and Bill, and it's miles better than Hobbs going for Jericho, which made jinxed it right there.
Yeah.
Also, not a bad thing to have on Collision, because it's like, it's a notable enough storyline where people on Collision might want to watch it to keep up with other storylines. But for me, if I'm not watching it, I'm not
a big deal.
Losing sleep over that fact.
Nothing we're gonna run out and find.
I mean, we can find it a lot easier now, but will I? Nah.
No, probably not.
Then we get Claudio Castagnoli versus Jeff Jarrett. Jarrett gets a title shot if he wins, because why have me enjoy things? Jarrett countered the neutralizer, locked Claudio in a figure four until he forced a rope break. Double foot stomp from Claudio for 2. Strike exchange. Love when Jarrett gets to take a bunch of savage uppercuts and then drops Claudio with one punch. That's my favorite.
One of my only notes is Jarrett gassed from kicking and punching.
Yeah, like, he's like slower, older Jey Uso.
Yeah,
where he don't do a whole lot. I think the highlight move I remember him doing was a Russian leg sweep.
Amazing.
Like, which is a reverse stroke.
That's right.
Okay, if you're him and you're taking the time to do a Russian leg sweep, just do your finisher.
You're in the same setup.
Just do your finisher.
Yeah.
Jarrett gets swung, but like, his hands were. It looks like he was more concerned with keeping his trunks up than like swinging around. You know what I mean?
Lash Legend had that problem this week. A lot of trunk adjustment.
Jarrett, yeah, so he got swung. He countered Claudio sharpshooter into one of his own, because I don't know if you know this, he was friends with Owen Hart.
No, that can't be true.
Yeah,
It's his identity right now, basically.
It's the only reason he's a babyface.
Yeah, it is. It
literally is the only reason.
Yep.
Because I remember his babyface tournament started with the match when ironically Hangman returned and he was a monster heel. We were like, why is he beating up Jarrett, who's like randomly babyface? It was like, it kind of killed part of Hangman's thing there, because it would have been cool if he beat up a babyface, one that I cared about, two that was a babyface.
It was actually an established babyface. Yeah.
Yuta distracts the ref and tries to hit. Claudio tries to hit Jarrett with the chair, but he ducks. Mox comes in, hits a paradigm shift to Jarrett. Claudio with 2 neutralizers for the win. Then MJF's music comes out. He acts like he's going to say something, decks Jarrett with the mic, and says he respects his elders, so he won't say, I told you so.
So, Claudio needs a ton of help to beat Jeff Jarrett, is a takeaway from this. The referee looks like an idiot because he's just back to everything for minutes, it felt like, right?
I can't see you. I can't hear you.
The match was basic, but I guess the silver lining is Claudio didn't lose to Jarrett, but only because like other people got involved.
Yeah. It was not good, but what did you expect?
Yeah.
Like, let's be real.
Yep.
Jarrett's basic. He's slow. He's old. He does not still have it, and he cannot still go. So if anyone thinks so, I want you to watch this match and explain to me why.
I am not a young person, but when they close up on Jarrett, it's glaring how like and
old,
the fake tan, the bleach blonde hair, the whole deal. It's just like the illusion. You cannot zoom in on that man, or the illusion is completely destroyed.
And like Claudio's not a young guy either, but like he's still in his prime, I think, ish for wrestling. But like if you did a close up on both of them, you could see which one's built active wrestler and which one's Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, for sure.
Everything he did was slow and soft looking. Like so many of his shots, like his kicks to the leg, were like, you know when Danielson would do kicks to the leg and he's like coming at you hard.
Yes.
He's just like Jarrett's just kind of like,
Yes.
You know,
suspension of disbelief is hard in his match,
especially when I don't want to.
Whereas Danielson, you're just like, oh, he's actually kicking the crap out of this guy.
Kick your effing head in.
Yes, exactly.
And Claudio looked like an idiot being on the back pedal because Claudio's so hard hitting smash mouth, like, and he's so much better. I hate that he needed any sort of help to beat Jarrett. I'm gonna choose to look at it as Mox. Like Mox for me.
I'm gonna choose to look at it. That's a nice setup.
Yeah, Mox for me. I was saying this to you. He's not taking out Jarrett because he's a threat. No one in their right mind would view Jarrett as a threat. He's just trying to put him out of his misery. And so, like, I think that he wants to focus on Copeland because regardless of how you feel about Copeland, he's the threat right now, right? He's the one with backup. He's the one fighting Moxley consistently, right?
Yeah.
If you want to call him a threat, like, he's the threat right now, right? It should be Jay White, but it's not.
Feels like it might be shortly to me.
I hope so. I love Jay White.
But he's not winning anything, but
I don't need him. I just want him to, like, he's more worthwhile than Copeland.
Yeah, I agree.
That's my only thing. But anyways, I think Copeland is the threat right now, so he's just trying to eliminate another possible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because think about it right now. He's got Jay White still kind of in his orbit. He's focusing on Copeland right now. If he had Jarrett, we'd be having another World's End scenario where it's like, you know, multiple people at the same time. And I'm going to assume he doesn't want that. So why not just take out the easiest one to cut off right now? Right?
It's easy.
If it's Jarrett. Two, if he loses this match right now, he doesn't get his title shot, right? Because he has such an easy route to a title shot, so it's easy also to take it away.
True.
So I'm gonna go with that because no one's feeling threatened by Jarrett ever.
No.
At all. Ever.
Post
match was fine. It just sucks MJF's not free of this.
I agree. I thought he was, and I was happy. Like the thing was he doesn't want to do it. I'm like, I respect
and
that. And
they're setting up the Hangman thing, right?
Yes, they are. So there was that.
There was that. So that was that. Then we get a Ricochet interview. Renee mentions, that Swerve will forfeit the match if he interferes tonight. So that would explain his absence. Ricochet says that's good because finally Swerve is out of his business. He's like, Renee wants to talk about whatever, and he says he's not dressed to talk things out, so they'll do it formally on Collision because he'll probably get his suit and glasses.
Yeah.
He says he's being bullied by having to wrestle AR Fox before a big match next week.
He's the victim. I like it.
He is the victim.
Yep.
This was solid. Ricochet's not sucking on the mic, so that's a marvel in of itself. And Ricochet versus Fox sounds awesome.
He's annoying, but in a heel way, not a go-away heat way.
Yeah, he doesn't sound like completely uncomfortable anymore, though, right?
I agree. He's finding himself 20 years into his career or whatever, which is crazy. But...
I mean, that's not bad. Like, that's like Christian. He found himself however long it's been, right? Like with the Father of the Year thing.
Right. So, and I like that he has to face the same guy Swerve faced and beat, but he's like moaning about how unfair it is.
When AR Fox has never won a match on Dynamite.
Right.
ever.
It's just the fact that he even has to engage. He just wants to complain. He's the victim. Everyone's against him. So I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Then we roll right into Ricochet and AR Fox. Fox did a springboard slammer from the corner and a corkscrew brainbuster. If that's a crazy first note, then that's AR Fox.
AR Fox is wild.
He's awesome. Hip toss on the apron from Ricochet, which is kind of simple, but just always a hard landing on the apron gets a good reaction.
Would you say that's the hardest part of the ring? I don't know.
I'd have to get a professional's opinion on it. I'm usually not well informed enough.
I don't know if anyone's ever thought about it.
That's what I'm saying. I'm going to need to get a second opinion on that
40 years of watching wrestling, never been mentioned.
I'm going to need another opinion. Ricochet, he looked like he was running up for a dive to the outside. He faked the crowd out. Thought that was a nice heel move.
Yes.
He's one of his moves that he does sometimes. I've seen him do it before, not often, but the people's moonsault, I think is pretty funny.
Yeah.
That got a 2 count. There was a crossbody collision, a leg capture brainbuster from Fox for 2. Awesome. Ricochet seated on the turnbuckles on Fox. He basically he kind of has him like this and he pulls him over his head, kind of reminiscent of Archer's blackout kind of thing. And then
that's what I thought he was
hangs onto
doing.
the wrist, then jumps forward and pulls Ricochet back up into a cutter.
And we're just shaking our heads as we watch it.
And then nails a 450 splash for 2. That sequence alone got the crowd chained. This is awesome.
And the 450 looked heavy.
He's got a masterful 450,
he does.
I will say.
He's no Nathan Fraser, but
yeah,
it might be next here.
Yeah, it's in terms of impact, I think his is up there. It's not, because I think the speed
Fraser's
of
is the Revolution.
Fraser, it's, yeah. But Fox's Ricochet and Fireman's Carry. Ricochet pulls on the ref's shirt and gets out, hits a recoil for 2, which I don't think I've seen recently.
No.
Ricochet wins with the Spirit Gun and a Vertigo. Then after the match, he grabs scissors, goes to attack Fox. Swerve comes in and attacks him. He lines up for the Swerve stomp, but Ricochet uses Fox as a meat shield, holding him at scissor point, and then he escapes. I thought that was great.
Really good match. Expected outcome, obviously. Both kind of crazy athletes, similar style, I guess you could say. And Fox just has these little variations.
He's innovative, right?
Yes, on things. You can see why he trains people, because he just does things a little bit differently. The crowd really.
I really wish he was interesting because he's so cool.
He is. I was into this by the end too, and Fox, this role of he's a believable guy that opponents need to take a shortcut to beat, like Ricochet did, because
he's got all this crazy offense that you can't really prepare for. So he's gonna, even though he doesn't win, he's gonna give you a run for your money, right? And keep you on your toes.
And it's a perfect opponent for Ricochet to have to get pull the ref aside and do what he did.
Especially because Ricochet is not the most formidable
guy,
right? He's a chicken heel, so he's him taking this route is fine for him and helps Fox a little.
And it's believable that if he didn't, Fox could win, right? So heel Ricochet is still just a big plus on Dynamite for me. And I like the intense post-match attack by Swerve, and I like the slimy heel way to avoid it by Ricochet with the scissors being his prop now. It was good. This was a good match and a good post-match.
I thought it was a really fun TV match, and it's probably my favorite match of the night.
Can't believe how much I like Ricochet.
I know.
As a heel.
And as a heel. This was the AR Fox I like to see, because I feel like he didn't have as much to do last week against Swerve.
It's true.
Not that it was bad. It's just I feel like he got more in here, which kind of makes sense given Ricochet's standing, and that's fine. Fox just does things differently. He's got so many unique things. The way he operates is just so enjoyable to watch. He's another guy who's super fun to watch like Cage, but he never wins.
Right.
I was thinking I'd give him the ROH TV title or something, because he deserves something like that, and it would give him some wins on ROH, and he could pop up here.
Hopefully he's been forgiven for whatever those issues were back in the...
it'd be nice to give him something like they gave it to Commander.
Yeah.
But no offense, I'd rather give Fox his flowers than Commander.
Commander.
Even though he was great in the C2, but I would have loved Fox as a fall guy in the C2, not going to lie. Yeah. Now that I think of it, I would love that.
That'd be a good spot for him.
Post-match stuff was solid. I like Wussy Ricochet using him as a shield. That was a smart move. The match next week should be pretty great. I'm excited that we have a TV match with some stock in it.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of feeling a similar thing to Switchblade and Yuta later. It's something like a TV match that's not quite pay-per-view, although Ricochet and Swerve I feel like could go pay-per-view, or Australia at least, but more so with Switchblade and Yuta. It's a match with a feud that's not quite pay-per-view, but then it feels worthwhile on TV. So it's not just hey, we're getting this versus this. And it's not like Ospreay and Cage, where that is a storyline, but it's a setup to another match. You know what I mean? It's a match that is part of this feud.
And the outcome going in, but that doesn't there's enough other things going on, match quality.
That's only an issue for me when the match isn't as good, or if it's in the case of the main event, where it's just you're dusting off random people.
Yes, that is my complaint there too.
Then we get a Renee close up with the Death Rider. So this is, I think, a segment of a YouTube video.
Why choose Renee to do this?
I don't mind it. Well, because she's the best one.
But that's her husband.
Yeah, but
and are we
she's
forgetting
professional.
that? Are we forgetting that or not forgetting that?
Not
what are they
acknowledging
saying?
that, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
She's a profesh.
I thought it was a weird choice.
I think the only time they made mention to it is like Caster in a rap, I want to say.
I guess, yeah.
But I'm okay with that because Renee's awesome.
She is.
Renee, like the gist of this was her asking about the title being held hostage, and Mox should have been like, we talked about this at home.
Exactly, that's what I mean. Like, is she selling? She's intimidated by him. Is she like?
This isn't the man I married.
Right.
He asked why people need to see the title and asked if it's a petting zoo.
That made me laugh.
That was funny. Nobody knows anything about it and what a world title means. He said he's the living definition of the title and says fans can take a look at him and the title lives here. He said it's not something you can win or hold. It lives in here and it has to be cultivated. He says he's trying to build a more of him and he'll put them through what he has been through and worse.
I've been pretty hard on Death Riders. You've been a little softer. I thought this was a very acceptable explanation. One of the better things he said in a while. Just because, like, this is some development. Like, I'm explaining things, right? Like, I am the title. And I'm trying to make facsimiles of myself for the betterment of this company, this industry, whatever. Now, he needs to follow up and explain
I think, like,
how what he's doing is developing more of him.
Mm-hmm.
But at least there's something I can hold on to here. And there's been nothing I could grasp for several weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, like, there was some funny stuff, like the petting zoo stuff was funny.
That was funny.
So I think maybe they're listening to the lot of complaints about the lack of motivation for this group's actions, right? So we're getting a taste of it here, and I think this is a good start, and more of this would be helpful. Like,
there is more. Like, this is, I think, the full thing is on YouTube, which I think that's the downside, is that you could be potentially missing some key stuff. So I might try to find that just because that could help us out. It would be better if it was on TV, but even if, like, they're taking the time, in theory, it's probably easier for people to go to YouTube and find something than always watching network TV, right?
Yes,
so
the way people consume stuff now,
right.
for
so
sure.
I think if there's some good explanation in that, then it's still, I think, a worthwhile piece of canon, right?
But I liked this, and I haven't liked the Death Rider thing in quite a while, so
that's good.
I'm happy.
Yeah, I like the last thing he said and creating more of him, because that feels more like what the original vision of this group was. That, like, Blackpool lost its way because Danielson was soft, and that way wasn't creating the next generation that Mox wanted. So that's what he was doing.
We're gonna drag people down to our level.
But that's also when he was beating the snot out of everybody.
Yeah.
So I like this, and I like the specificity.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Of everything, and I just think he needs to go back to beating the crap out of people and, like, incite the roster and make them want to free the title and take him down, right? Like, because I think
incite the roster is well said.
What he's saying makes sense, and, like, I think it does make sense because basically, like, he went through he was like that CZW guy, right? He faced a lot of hardship on the indies and everything, and, like, that made him hungry and, like, made him what he is now, right? And, like, he's like their company's guy.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so I think he needs to start putting people more through that, right? Like, maybe in his world title matches, he'll challenge Jay White's, like, maybe he needs to do a death match or something like that, right?
And if he can express that to us a little clearly,
that
like,
would
be helpful.
I thought this was good, and I like the whole thing about the belt, too. Like, it makes sense.
Right, so one question answered. Why the hell do you have a belt in the briefcase all the time? Check, we got an answer. Thank you.
Yeah, I
so
wouldn't
let's
even
answer
mind if
some
they
more questions.
Posted up another piece of this next week, but I'm going to assume we'll have to find the YouTube thing.
Right.
Which is fine. Like, I do want to check it out just out of curiosity, and hopefully there's more answers to it.
Speaking of YouTube, I heard a lot of episodes of NXT have been put up there.
Yeah, on the Vault, they have old episodes and some of the full TakeOver shows. Oh, here we go. WNXT's YouTube channel, TakeOver Brooklyn's on there. So, like, I guess you don't entirely need Netflix.
No.
For them, I'm just looking on YouTube quick because I want to see if the full thing is on here.
And you're avoiding talking about the next segment.
Probably, yeah. Like, is it?
Is it?
I thought it was. Because they have the Dynamite clips here, so maybe it's not. But I swear that's what they said it was.
Lies.
Maybe not. Anyways, I do hope there is more of this because I would like more.
Me too.
And just to expand more on why he's
getting more specific about what you're doing and why you're doing it.
The vision for the group was good. It's just it needed more clarity. And I also start beating the crap out of people.
Right.
Like the conglomeration or the Dark Order.
Maybe stop running away from people too.
Yeah.
Would be good.
Injure FTR. You know what? Retire Adam Copeland again. Let's do it.
It's fine.
Then I call this Jericho's TV word vomit.
Yep.
He talks about the ad for his movie they just played. It's called Dark Match.
Looks great.
It's a movie.
For sure to go see
Shudder original.
Oh, Shudder, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So it's not even like a theater movie.
No.
He talks about Bill and Hobbs brawling on Collision. Big Bill says what Jericho said the last week struck a chord with him, and he put his words into action. He feels stronger. Jericho said he's proud of himself for being a great leader and tells Bill to work harder to take out Hobbs permanently. Him and Keith are going to face the Outrunners. Bill should do better next time. I just said I wanted to stop.
It's still just the subtle, like, he's taking shots at Big Bill, right? And Big Bill so far is just eating them all, and I'm sure it's going to build up and blah, blah, blah. But I don't know who could possibly care. And I'm hoping the culmination of this is kept off of Dynamite because I don't need it. Does Jericho have creative control?
Mox does.
Feels like Jericho does.
I don't know, but I could see that. I know Mox does with Death Riders now, so.
Yes. So I don't know, man. I'm not a fan of this still, so I don't really care. But if it gets Big Bill liberated and onto something else, then I'm okay with it. As long as it happens on a show I don't watch. I guess.
Then we get Jay White versus Wheeler Yuta. White went for the Blade Runner, like, I think it was he was slowly taking off his jacket or whatever, and then he suckered Yuta in to try to get him. Yuta bails out of the ring, and I think the match started after that. White chops Yuta numerous times. They're fighting on the floor. Yuta hits a dropkick to White's left knee, and then he targets that, I think, within the ring apron, the underside of the ring. Fisherman suplex from Yuta for 2. Big superplex from White for 2. We were talking about he always does it really well.
He doesn't just fall off the top. He,
you
pushes
can
off.
See him extending up with his legs, and then, also, he always goes from the top rope. Some people will just go middle rope and do it, but I think it should be top rope, obviously. Hammer and Inva elbows from Yuta. He hit a German suplex for 2. He went for a Psycho knee, but White grabbed him out of it perfectly, nailed a Blade Runner, gets the win. After the match, another Blade Runner. After the bell, and the crowd want one more. They don't care about Yuta whatsoever. Mox comes up the apron, and White's taunting him. He's holding him for a Blade Runner again, but then Claudio attacks him from behind, obviously. He gets beat down until Rated FTR come down. Mox and company bail from the ring. Dax basically he's mad, but then beating up Rock and Roll Express, and he challenges Death Riders to a Mid-South street fight on Collision.
Ooh. On Collision, okay.
Yeah.
So I thought all of White's signature stuff looked great.
He's awesome.
I still enjoy, and I know you do too, that his finisher's being sold as out of nowhere kind of deal.
Second coming of an RKO.
Yuta's a solid opponent, obviously never getting the win here.
Yeah.
Still a solid match, and White
It's not as action-packed, but White's cerebral style is super enjoyable to watch. It's fine.
And we said, White is in Mox's orbit. I think that means White will be a placeholder challenger.
Which I'm okay with. I don't think it's his time yet.
And I do think he's in the conversation, which
I agree.
is what we want for him.
I want him on world title levels, so I think this is totally fine. I don't think he's the one to beat Moxley. I do think he's definitely champion down the line. I just don't think it's his time yet.
And again, the mega heel faction is slinking away from people, which isn't my favorite. But that's sort of the role they've settled into since their debut.
It's not like Hurt Syndicate where it's there's no money in this. At least they have a built-in reason why they're not gonna fight everyone all the time, right? This is solid though. I thought it was pretty good. And we always talk about how great White is. He's a ring general. He's great. Yuta's not the most interesting dude, but he's good in the ring.
He is.
I do like his work. The leg targeting gave him a way to be in control bunch, which was smart. I like the finish again. The Blade Runner gets put over as that lethal one and done out of nowhere, like an RKO. So I really like that and puts over his move really well. Post-match stuff I didn't care for. I'm over all the Copeland nonsense. White should be the title challenger right now, hopefully for Dynasty then, because Dynasty's the month after Revolution, I think. And I feel Copeland has to be at Revolution.
It does make it feel like Copeland has no chance of winning, which is okay, because I was nervous that there was a chance.
Because White has to be after it, unless White sets up before somehow, but I feel like that doesn't make sense.
Me either.
Given how much stock they've been putting into
and then White has no anything with Edge, so you know what I mean? So I don't know. It seems that way, at least.
Yeah. Then we get a recap of the Storm May segment from Collision. I'm disappointed she reverted back to Timeless. I'm not surprised. I'm disappointed. I do like the parallels of between this and May's turn from last year, but I just loathe Timeless Storm. It's over the top in the worst way, and it doesn't fit. It's just too goofy.
I don't get it. I don't
get the appeal of it. I don't get how it's makes sense.
May. I don't within the story. How does this performance by Storm make any difference to Mariah May?
Yeah, you were saying this, and I agree. The ruse seems pointless to me. What does Storm gain out of this? She has her title shot.
How is this getting one over on Mariah May?
It's you thought I forgot about you? Haha, I didn't.
You thought, I guess what they're going for is you thought you were facing the rookie, but
it really doesn't make a difference. It really doesn't make a difference.
The gymnastics I have to do to make this meaningful, it tells you it's stupid.
And I just don't get how this character is enjoyable. Like, it's goofy and it makes everyone else look stupid.
You can do this as an upper mid card.
I disagree.
Whatever.
It makes people look stupid for having to deal with it and act like this is a real person.
I don't get why May cares.
Like, you want to talk about NXT and how it makes no sense to have these babyface mobsters acting like they're real people in this universe. This makes no sense to have her as a real person, believing she's this 1930s like Marilyn Monroe, Mildred Burke wrestler, 80s, like not 80s, but like sorry, black and white actor. Like, it makes no sense. She's not real.
So me being a normal person was the fake thing, and the real me is me pretending to be
this caricature, right?
So
like
stupid.
You can see how it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
Like, not only do I not really care for this character, but if it was regular Storm playing a character, fine, because this is not a real person. But now you're telling me this not real person was playing a real person, so she understands what a normal person is.
Right.
Like, it'd be like if Tony D'Angelo started playing a realistic human being and then was like, nope, I'm a mobster.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make sense. And this character does not work. It doesn't make sense. Like, I'll talk about this after May's promo too, but May is this psychotic, like, incredibly, like, cruel,
She's the
savage,
woman from hell.
evil, villainous woman. But she still feels like a real person.
Yes.
Like, she is
She's
this
amazing.
over-the-top psychotic. I'm struggling to find the right words to describe her, but, like, she's just evil, but it's realistic. Whereas Storm is like this cartoonish, over the top, like melodramatic. Like, no real person would ever act like this.
Nope.
Like, I'm not saying they'd be entirely sane, but I could see a real person being like May.
Mm-hmm.
There's no universe where a real person is like Tony Storm. It's ridiculous.
And that's your real persona, and that your fake persona is more realistic than your real.
Not the fact that this is not a real. I can't believe it being a real person, but the fact that this is a person that would play a real person.
And like Mariah May is supposed to be like, ooh, you got me. Like, I don't
know. Right? Like,
anyways.
And we were talking about suspension of disbelief earlier with Jarrett. Like, for me, I just can't believe this is a real person, that she should be any threat to someone like May.
Like, it was a cute little thing that people latched onto, and I feel like they extended
far
it
overstated
way
welcome.
too far. Yeah.
I think her being gone for months was a way to get Tony Storm back, and we just crapped on it.
And unfortunately, our opinion, I think, is pretty unpopular. But
I agree.
I'm standing by it.
I will stand on this because
it's the hill we'll die on.
I will stand on business here because this character is dumb, and it makes everyone else look dumb. Like, we were seeing it throughout her title run. When she's doing this over the top, like, campy, melodramatic actress thing, and then you have someone like when she was doing with Deeb or Rosa or May, when they're like realistic and normal, or Purrazzo, right? Purrazzo, I forgot about that one. They look stupid.
Yep.
Being normal and reasonable and real compared to this caricature of a human from decades gone by.
And only because Mariah May is so good and strong in what she's doing, is this not crumbling her.
Right. But like anyone else, it makes them look dumb, like Deeb and Rosa.
It's an
and
anchor
Purrazzo
to them.
And like I think Sheeta, like everybody looks stupid for entertaining this idea. May is great because like she's like, well, I'll talk about it here, but she's just better.
It comes right into it now.
So Mariah May gets an interview on the stage. She says they're in Huntsville. They should change the first letter to a C.
Funny.
Which is pretty funny. She says none of this is real, and Tony Storm is not real.
Correct.
I'm agreeing with the heel. That was a lot of rhymes. I'm sorry. She says Storm wants to play the role of Storm. She should play the role of the Storm who got played by a woman who used her for her gold, or the Storm whose biggest wound was bleeding in her hands and walked to Wembley, Japan, and Mexico because she couldn't touch May. She says Storm can play whatever version she likes because the result stays the same, and when you're this good, you don't change a thing. She says she's the woman from hell, and she always will be. She'll remind Storm for the rest of her life. And like I said, this is the issue. Storm's this ridiculous cartoonish character, while meanwhile May is a psychotic savage, but she's a real person.
And I think she's playing it the way she has to. She's kind of like, you can do whatever character you want.
Right, she's entertaining it as not real.
I'm not sweating any of it because I'm better than you.
I like what May's approach is because I think a lot of them, like, I remember Purrazzo saying, like, this isn't you because we traveled up and down the road together.
Yeah.
That is what they did. But, like, she was saying this isn't the Storm I know, which is fine, but she's still entertaining it like this is the person you've become.
Yeah.
I think May is playing as this is not you. This is a character you're playing, but that's fine. I'm going to kick your ass anyways.
Pick a character, bring it.
Right.
I don't care.
And so I like that because her entertaining this as a remotely real person makes her look stupid.
Yes. She's just shrugging it off and being like, I'm going to beat you anyways. And I think that's the way to do it.
She's so great here because, like you said, she says fairly simple things, but she delivers it better than most. And the condescending tone of everything, like just the way she talked about her moments with Storm and how she just absolutely used Storm to get on top is fantastic.
She's incredible, man.
And it just pisses me off that it does concern me that we're in Australia.
I know.
With Storm.
I know. I'm terrified.
I am terrified. I'm still willing to bank on May.
Me too.
I think it's more likely
if
than
I had
not.
to pick right now, but
I wouldn't put it past them, which scares me.
Me too.
Especially because, like, if it was regular Toni Storm, I wouldn't care as much because I like Toni Storm in the ring. But I hate this character.
Yes.
I hate it.
I do.
It's bad.
It's not good.
It's not good. It's bad. It should be in our worst stuff from last year. It'll be worse stuff this year if they keep it up. Mark my words. Then we get a vignette with the guns. It's basically like, we see them looking at the phones and some of their greatest moments are playing, right?
Yeah.
I thought a nice touch was Austin's driving in the car. We see on the dash, it's 3:10 is the time.
Oh, yeah.
And Many Men is playing because that was the song they used when they lost the titles to FDR. We get guns up to end. It was simple, but I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was simple, just to kind of like hype that they're coming back. I thought it was neat.
That they're important enough that they get a little bit of, because we grew to like the guns.
Yeah,
right?
I really like them. I look forward to them coming back, and I hope we get Bang Bang Gang back and rolling, like as a group, because I really like them as a faction.
And again, if the AEW can ever figure it out, they're a good part of a robust tag division
or a trios division if Juice comes back.
Right.
Either or, right? And I want the theme song again. Do that.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's the best. It's the greatest. But yeah, I'm excited to see the guns back. I do really like them now.
Yep, me too.
I enjoy them. So I like this. It was simple. It wasn't as cool as stylized as like the Bandito vignettes. But this was still cool. Like
it's just nice instead of they're randomly back, that it's like, hey, getting you guys ready. They're coming back.
Yeah, and I like it because I think the timing could be good too. Because think about it, they could come back in like a week or two. We'll have Revolution going, I think. Or not, actually no, so they'll come back probably way before Revolution, but I think they'll come back in time for, we'll have obviously the Revolution feud will be Mox and Copeland, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I think by that time Bang Bang Gang will be back in full force. Hopefully Juice is back too. I don't know how bad his situation is, but at least we'll have White in the guns, right? Point being. And then we can pivot into White versus Moxley, and now White will have his backup again. You know what I mean? Because I think the point when we were heading into World's End was that he was isolated when he's usually not. He didn't have the guns. He didn't have Juice, right? Mm-hmm. So he was alone. And so I think then the return of the guns will coincide perfectly with him feuding with Moxley.
It looks good.
Right? And hopefully Juice is back too, just to make it perfectly even. But even if it's not, I think White and the guns will be perfectly fine. And I'd like to see them in some tag matches for sure against Death Riders. Then we get a quick Hurt Syndicate vignette. MVP was just talking about like Private Party that had good fight and everything, but they ran into a mountain and
tried to put them over a little bit.
Unsolvable. Like, I do appreciate that, but it is what it is. He says they'll take on any challenge anywhere, and they hurt people. It was simple, but it was cool, and I look forward to their dominance.
Looks like open challenge, right? Which I think makes sense for them, and it could jumpstart the tag division. I would have them defend regularly, crush people. And in the meantime, adjacent to that, you're building up a babyface team to have a major feud.
Party. I guess they would be the ones to win. Okay, if you want to have a team in the meantime, like honestly, I know it's basic, but FTR is a good pick, obviously.
Yes. Something.
Other teams.
Keep it simple, but I don't know if they'll be able to do it. More likely, I'm afraid, is that it's like the Bucks just come back. And that's like, they're like, oh man, with the Hurt Syndicate super over, we need to attach ourselves to that.
I'm fine with that if they don't win.
I don't know, man.
Like, I would like a match with them against the Bucks.
Would rather
I think it'd be a great match.
Elevate somebody. I don't know.
No, I agree. That's what I'm saying. Like, I would want like Private Party or someone to win the titles, but I want Bucks to feud with them.
Yeah.
Because I think the match would be great, especially to see Bucks and, no offense to Lashes, but Shelton and the Bucks being in the same ring would be great. Yes. Like, I don't doubt the match would be great. I just don't want them to win the titles again.
But I like the cool heel vibe of the Hurt Syndicate where they're like, we're so tough, we'll just fight everybody. It doesn't matter.
Then we get a promo from the Vendetta.
Obviously. Dynamite mainstays.
Right. Perazo talks about Monet defending the TV title against Yuka tonight. Would have been her if not for Harley Cameron. Ty, I thought her line was funny, saying Harley sticks her balloons where they don't belong.
Yeah.
That was kind of funny.
Although that's kind of pot calling kettle black situation.
Yeah, that's fair. But I do think it was funny.
Yeah.
Perazo said they need to take what's theirs, which is nothing, and they're coming to collect on Collision, Taya says.
Yeah, they sounded fine. But
they sound fine, but it feels pointless. And feuding with Harley Cameron is... it's indicative of where they are on the card.
So Deonna Purrazzo, who I love and is awesome in the ring, is now going to be fed to Harley Cameron to build her credibility.
There's a decent chance that's what happens.
I'm pretty sure that's what happens here.
I guess so, yeah.
So that sucks. Not even that I'm anti-Harley Cameron, but
she shouldn't be being Purrazzo
I'm
already.
pro Deonna Purrazzo, so not a fan of that.
That's a good way to put it, yeah, because you don't hate her.
I don't.
Most of the time.
No.
Or some of the time.
Yeah.
Because sometimes she's brutal, but she was funny last week.
She was.
Then we get Mercedes Moné versus Yuka Sakazaki for the TBS title. How did she get here? There was a random 4-way on Collision, which is what Purrazzo was referring to.
Okay.
That
helps.
That's what she was referring to. It's still random dust off Yuka, but there was a match on Collision.
Sure is.
So there was minimal setup for this.
Yeah.
They did minimal setup. Monet, I know you're going to be surprised, running Meteora from the apron.
First time.
On
Brand
the
new.
floor.
Expanding her moveset. Ooh, I hate the word moveset, too.
Springboard missile dropkick from Yuka. There's a brain buster, quote unquote, from Yuka for 2.
Suplex.
It was a suplex.
Yeah.
It was a suplex.
Suplex.
Speaking of suplexes, Monet hit the 3 amigos.
Of course.
For a 2 count. Superplex from Yuka. Yuka countered out of the Monet maker, hits a thrust kick. She hit her merry-go-round for a near fall, which was kind of decent.
It looked cool,
kind of bangerang-ish.
Yes. Where's Dalton Castle?
Yeah.
Love that guy.
Yuka hit a rolling elbow, rolls Monet up for 2. Snap German off the ropes from Yuka. Monet hit a powerbomb and did not hit the Monet maker for the win.
No, she kind of released it, right? The whole holding on part.
Yeah, it's just not a good move.
When you hit a move like successfully that looks good, like 18% of the time, maybe stop doing it, especially as you're finished. Anyways, we've talked about that enough. I thought the match was very good, really competitive. I thought Sakazaki looked good, but again, like,
it wasn't a main event choice for me.
Random. Why is she? I know you're saying the 4-way, but like, in terms of the company, why her? Why not somebody else? Is there nobody else on the roster deserving? Like, I don't know. So the match was good. There's just a disconnect, right? There's no universe where she's winning. You put it in the main event. I will say that one thing Raw has on Dynamite lately is that their main events they're giving me, it's plausible that either person wins. And that doesn't happen a lot on Dynamite, I will say. Quality of the match was fine. But again, it's a main event where you know who's winning. So that's not my favorite. But yeah, I thought Sakazaki looked good. Monet was fine as well.
Yeah, it was fine. It's just not a good choice for main event because I think like I would have picked Switchblade and Yuta probably just because it's a better match and it held more story relevance. Like, because main event, it has to be a good match, obviously, but it should also hold some relevance to like something, right? Instead of being a random
some larger stories. Yeah.
Like, it was just a random title match to set up on Collision last week. Yuka isn't bad, but she's one of the ones they always dust off for a title match. And here and there, that she'll never win. It was solid, just didn't have anything to it, I thought. Monet needs a worthwhile title program. Someone on Statlander's level, but with, like, some story. Because those were great matches. It just wasn't a great feud because they didn't really put anything into the feud.
They did not.
So to speak. But yeah, like, it was solid. I thought it was good action and, like, a decent retention from Monet, but should have had more to it.
Yeah, so overall, I thought this show was good. I thought the matches were all in ring, very good, but like again, they were all guaranteed wins for other people. It picks up some marks because the Death Rider segment I liked this week when in the past I haven't liked.
And we didn't have a long Jarrett segment. We had a match which wasn't great, but
that is the only downfall for matches.
I think that was better than having a long ass segment that I hate.
And I Ricochet's character's developing further, which I like. I went with a B show. I thought it was good. It's been a while since there's been an A-level Dynamite, which I really hope comes back. Because it used to be like A-, A-. Now I'm in B, B-. But I like the show.
Sometimes a B+.
I'm going
to agree. I think this one was a B. Like, I thought most of the matches were good. Honestly, the only match I didn't like was Jarrett. Go figure.
Surprise.
But Death Riders had a great segment. I like everything around the opener because it was kind of segment-ish with the beatdown, right? But like, I just like everything they're doing with the Omega Powers thing. Actually, Hangman's little segment I really, really like just because I think his work's great. And MJF was always a good promo, even though I don't care about the Jarrett stuff.
Right.
I think Hangman's work, though, is especially enjoyable. Hobbs was fine. Don't like Jericho. Never do. May was actually really good, too. I forgot.
She was.
But that's customary. I like the Guns vignette. I like seeing them. So generally, like a solid show, but not exceptional.
Not an elite one, no. Yeah, no pun intended. All right, so take a break from analysis, get into some trivia. Hammer Jack with some questions about, it's going to be Royal Rumble related, I'll tell you that. Let's do that now, off the top of his head. So it'll be quick because I think most of these you'll know. You're either going to know them in the number one I don't think you'll ever get. I could give you infinite guesses. Remember that used to be the gimmick? I like to end on one you would never get. So I don't think you'll get this because I've never even heard of the person. So we are talking about surprise entrants in the Royal Rumble.
Okay.
Could be wrestlers, could be celebrities, could be anybody, could be people returning from injuries, whatever. Okay. So we got 15 of them. Starting at number 15. 2022 Grammy-winning artist entered at 27.
It's a Bad Bunny.
Correct.
Yeah.
See, that's what I was saying. It came up earlier. It's weird that you mentioned him. Surprise return 2018 at number 27. First appearance in years.
Rey Mysterio.
Strong showing, eliminated by as a bonus.
Oh.
No way. How could you know that?
I should know.
And this is AI generated, different AI engine this time. They're saying Finn Balor.
Oh, good for him.
Maybe. 2010, second woman to enter the men's Rumble.
Phoenix.
Correct. Entering at number 6. Eliminated the Great Khali.
Yeah.
Before
There's that spot where like she kissed him and he went over the ropes.
Right. Before being eliminated by Punk.
Yeah.
2021, surprise return at number 8. Making his first WWE appearance in years. Brief but nostalgic run before being eliminated by Elias.
Was it Hurricane?
No.
It wasn't Christian because he was
Somebody
later on.
who's still there now. So the brief run meant in the Rumble, not
Carlito?
Correct. At least if this is right. Easy, maybe the easiest one. Surprise debut at number 10 in the 2017 Rumble.
Oh, yeah, Ty Dillinger. That one was awesome.
Eliminated quickly by Braun Strowman. 2001 comedian and TV host entered at number 5.
Drew Carey.
Correct.
That wasn't really a surprise because they set it up earlier in the show.
Who eliminated him?
Oh, he himself.
Correct. 2, because why?
Kane.
Correct. 2009, surprise return at 25. Making his first WWE appearance in years. Strong showing, eliminated by Jericho.
2009 return.
If this is right. Was my favorite wrestler at one point.
See, that makes me think it was Jericho.
No. I loved him in another company.
It also makes me think it was Jericho.
No, true. Not that company. He was my
Rob Van Dam.
Yeah, he was part of my
I do remember him coming back in 2009 Rumble.
My bank card code used to be RVD1 because I loved him.
Nice.
It's not now, people. If you want to steal my stuff, it's not anymore.
Wink.
2011 surprise return at 21.
Diesel.
No.
Oh,
First
he wasn't it?
appearance in years. Brief but memorable moment being eliminated by Mason Ryan. Wow. Still with the company, not in ring. Will appear on our worst of.
Jericho?
No. Still with the company.
Oh, I guess.
But not in ring.
Who's
Worst of. Like slam dunk worst.
Who sucks
Next,
that
I got
bad?
one more hint.
Who sucks?
His role with the company is as a commentator.
Oh. Barrett?
No. Who's the worst commentator?
Oh, Booker T.
Correct.
Oh, right. I forgot he returned that match.
He did. Okay, so it's right. I'm like, is this stuff wrong? Because I'm using a different, supposedly a better AI engine, but we'll see. 2011, returned as his previous character
Diesel.
at number 32.
Diesel.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, because that was the 40 man, in case that number sounds weird. Yeah.
Eliminated by Barrett. I figured that had to be the case.
Yeah.
2002, surprise return at 25, marking his first appearance in years. Strong showing, eliminated by Kurt Angle.
Mr. Perfect?
Correct. Wow, I thought that was one you wouldn't get. 2015, because when you think about it, nobody says like 1900 and...
Yeah. Well, and it's like, the 2000s is weird because you don't say 2005.
Returned at number 3 in 2015.
Is that Bubba Ray?
Correct.
Yeah.
Wow. Eliminated by Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
What? No, wait, sorry. He even eliminated Bray Wyatt before being eliminated himself. Okay. 2018, surprise return at 22. Donning a previous gimmick.
Is that Hurricane?
Yes.
Okay, I know he was in that one.
Eliminated by Cena. Number 3. Very memorable one. I would even get this one. 2016, debut at number 3.
AJ Styles.
Correct. Lasted 30 minutes, eliminated by Owens. Number 2, 2010, returned at 29. Yeah, number 29 in the 2010 Rumble.
Is that Edge?
Out for 4 months due to Achilles. Correct, Edge. Oh, no, you will get this one. Sorry, that was a different thing I was thinking. Because I was thinking of a different trivia. So number 1, you probably will get. 2008, shocking return at number 30.
That's, Cena.
That is Cena.
That's a layup.
Because I remember, what else was I looking at that I thought you would never get?
There's some more surprising ones. Like, I think 97 had Mil Mascaras.
Oh, it was obscure Royal Rumble entrance I was thinking of.
He would probably be in there.
Number 1 was Pete Doherty in 88. Never even heard of him.
That's not even a person.
That's not even, you sir, are not even a person. Anyways, great job. You smashed it. I wanted to keep it kind of quick because we're pressed for time. We'll get back into talking about the week that was in wrestling. Anything notable we saw and want to discuss. We call it Highspots and Restholds. I watched Raw again. I'm sort of in that mode, and once the commercials are gone, it's
didn't.
2 and a bit hours.
Pete Dunne wasn't wrestling.
I didn't think it was great, but it did. I guess it was a lot of like final stuff going into the Rumble, and like you said, they're building so much interesting.
They're building
stuff
a great Rumble match
with the men's and the opposite of the women's, because I don't know anything that's going on there.
I barely know the people in there. Like I think that's the main criticism for Triple H, is that he doesn't book Rumble matches great, but specifically the women.
They put all their eggs in one basket for sure here.
Like War Games, it's very copy of War Games. Like the War Games had a lot of stock put into it, and then the women's one was just like
here they are,
just barfed out a War Games match.
So Rollins starts in the ring. He talks about his year getting off to a bad start because he lost to Punk, but beating Drew, I think last week, right, was the first step in his path to redemption. At the Rumble, he's tossing everyone out: Cena, Uso, Drew McIntyre, Sami Zayn, Roman Reigns. And he'll throw out CM Punk last to crush his dreams to dust, which I thought was good. Talks about which champion he would challenge once he wins. He mentions Cody first, which I thought was weird, but that's because he gets interrupted before he can mention Gunther. Because in no universe is Gunther even though I love Gunther, he's not the big champion, right? So that made sense. So he comes out. He talks about beating the clown Jey Uso and about how Rollins whines too much about all his soap opera drama. Again, he just speaks a lot of truth, this guy. It's 2025 and Seth isn't the best wrestler in this company. Gunther is. He tells Rollins to win the Royal Rumble and challenge Gunther for the world title at Mania. Again, I like that. Like, go ahead, win, challenge me. I don't care, right? Like like Mariah May. It doesn't matter.
Gunther Rollins at Mania would be awesome.
Unfortunately, to crush that, Logan Paul comes out. Says he's great at everything and the company needs a new star oozing with charisma and confidence.
I mean,
I don't like him in the orbit.
He's not wrong.
Not wrong, I
guess.
Not wrong. God, I hate that, having to compliment that dirtbag. He's entering the Royal Rumble while claiming he's going to work smarter, not harder. He's going to main event WrestleMania and choose either Gunther or Cody for an opponent.
No way Logan Paul would be stupid enough to choose Gunther. Like in kayfabe,
right. Gunther then says that he changed his mind and now he wants Logan to win at Royal Rumble so Gunther can embarrass him by slapping
would do that.
Slapping the stupid smirk off his face.
He would want that. That's great.
Again, good. They are starting Raw with pretty good segments like this. At the end of the day, it's really just I'm going to win the Rumble and who will I challenge.
But it's more interesting.
Good people to deliver it, right?
Yeah.
And again, Gunther's super confident. It's like, yeah, you win. No, wait, I want him to win.
I know the rumors have been Paul and Gunther. I don't think there's any way they ever actually do that.
I hope not.
Just because, like, I think Paul's good, and I don't mind him having a Marquee Mania match because I think, like, he's had some good matches, and I do like watching him. I just don't want him taking up the Gunther spot.
Hopefully, this is more of Paul's on Raw now. He's another guy we want to have in the orbit
like, get him
of the
notable.
top
Yeah,
tier.
That's fine. Like, I wouldn't mind him. I hope he gets a Marquee match. Like, this is kind of a weird pick, but like if Penta doesn't get to have a title match at Mania, that would be kind of a good spot for him.
It would.
I don't know. Penta Paul would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I do like Paul. In terms of wrestling, and so I do want him to do some notable stuff, and especially if he's like committing to WWE more. I don't mind him having stuff like the U.S. title. I just don't know. I don't know if I want him world title, especially not now. I kind of
like him with Penta because Logan is such a hated heel that it would be great for beloved Penta right now.
I could see that working.
Yeah. Sami Zayn confronts Punk.
I could also believe Paul is a racist.
Sami Zayn confronts Punk backstage about Sami not being on Punk's level. Sami points out that
I really liked his line. I did see this.
Punk has never main evented WrestleMania, so Punk is not at Sami's level.
I like that.
Yeah, it's funny because everybody that is now interacting with Punk is basically like, I main evented and you haven't. It's
I like that though.
Although, are they telegraphing anything? That's my concern. Right. Sami then sort of runs into Cross, who's still trying to mess with him. something about all the opportunities for Sammy. He could face Owens in the main event at Mania, etc. I don't mind Cross in this just sort of like subtly
Sean O'Haire, devil's
just
advocate
messing
kind of
with
thing.
everybody he comes across, just
He
trying
does
to
kind
like
of look like Sean O'Haire with his hair right now.
It's the most interesting he's been, at least.
With Punk, also, the good news is with 2 nights, he doesn't need to win the Rumble to main event.
True.
So hopefully he doesn't win the Rumble.
War Raiders retained their tag titles, and again, a 12-minute match that was the McDonough injury and Dom Mysterio. The Raiders hit their finishers called the War Machine now, which is weird to me.
I mean, that's a nice nod.
Good tag match. Crazy to see McDonough do what he did. Very good pace to this match. Crowd was really into it. Not even Pete Dunne and Kaiser support the New Day. And so it's the New Day interacting.
Pete Dunne was on Raw.
And you could hear Woods kind of not quite under his breath, but not directly into the mic either, being like, but they're the scum of the earth. Like, basically, like, why? So I don't know. Are they teasing an alliance with Dunne and Kaiser here?
I would love that team.
I wouldn't hate it.
I think Dunne and Kaiser would be awesome.
Because they were kind of there talking first to each other, and then New Day
I could see this probably
them.
just being like a minor thing, and it's probably not anything. But if they did team Kaiser and Dunne, I think that'd be awesome. Like, I would love for
great work rate, to use a word I hate too.
If that got done prominence, I am not against it. As long as he doesn't look like an idiot, I'm not ruling out anything to get done.
Apparently, he's producing a lot.
He did produce in UK and NXT, I think, so that makes sense.
That's becoming part of his role.
That's good for him, at least. And then that makes him more valuable to the company as a whole, but I want him more used as a talent. Yes. He's still young.
He's awesome.
Like, I think he's barely
30. He was like 21 when the cruiserweight. He's
31.
I think he was 20. I think it was Bate was 19 and he was 20.
Yeah, right? Like, so he's been here since 2017 and he's only 31. Like, they still have time with him, which is why I hope they do more with him. But, like, yeah, if him and Kaiser as a team gets him on TV and whatnot, like, I'm totally okay with that. I think they would be a cool team to it would put Kaiser back in a team, but hopefully a prominent one instead of one. Like, him and Vinci never did anything.
No, nothing.
Main roster, right? So I would like that, and I would love for them to be Warriors if they did team, because I think they'd be a kick-ass tag team.
And it's also like a combination. It's not because you're from the same country or because you're the same race.
It's just scum of the earth.
Right. So that's fine. Xavier Woods in an interview kind of sets up that his family is going to be there at ringside for his match, because that was basically the whole point of that match. So I forget who the interviewer was, but Woods kept referring to himself as Atlanta's favorite son, and she kept saying, or not himself, like, Atlanta's favorite son is here, and she's like, oh, you mean Austin Theory? Oh, you mean like several people, not him? So it was pissing him off, which was funny. Rey Mysterio ends up beating Xavier Woods in their 11-minute match because Woods' family is at ringside.
New Day have been taking losses since the turn.
They all reveal they have New Day Sucks t-shirts, and of course their involvement led into the finish because he was distracted. And yeah, so they're spending a long time going, nobody likes you, even other heels in your own family. Like, I get it. At some point, they have to start winning something, right?
And, like, getting a prominent feud.
Decent match, because I think he did Woods did a crazy stalling suplex and sort of stomped around, which is impressive. Rollins and Zayn now interact backstage, and Rollins believes Sammy. Bottom line is he believes Sammy that kick last week was an accident, but he's also kind of like, but if it happens again, it's going to be hard to believe. And he's sort of like, some people might be hesitant because of this, whatever you have going on with Roman Reigns. So it's always Rollins like, the fact that you have anything to do with Roman Reigns is a problem for me. And I like that he never wavers from that, right? Like, I don't have a problem with you. Like, you and I are good, but the fact that you're still something with this guy, it doesn't sit right. And he never lets that go, however many years later.
Even though he's the one that turned on Roman, but then I guess Roman's also then been his tormentor.
Yeah, but it's still like, and that's why I feel like that might be a Mania thing. Like, we get to Reigns and Rollins.
I would love them on a Mania
What
stage.
else is Reigns doing?
Yeah, it's either Rollins or Fatu, I think.
And it's been such a constant refrain of Rollins, like,
you have to pay it off.
Everybody's interactions with Reigns offends him. So, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yes, the payoff should be there. Jey Uso's entrance might have taken longer than his in-ring promo, and it's just he's going to win the Rumble. Cool.
His entrance was also probably better than his promo.
Could be. Liv and Raquel beat Belair and Naomi in a non-title match again. I think this is the second one. Dom got involved. Belair took him out. Raquel hit her powerbomb thing to Naomi on the apron. That doesn't look great because, like, the distance to, you know what I mean? When you're on the floor doing it onto the apron, there's not a lot of distance.
It looks good
if
you have decent impact. Like, Owens used to do the powerbomb on the apron that looked pretty lethal.
Question: could Jade return to screw the champs out of the titles and reveal Naomi or Belair took her out, leading to some sort of Mania thing?
I'd even argue that could happen in the Rumble.
Because they got 2 nights of Mania to fill up, right?
I agree.
We'll see. Penta had a pre-recorded segment. He's entering the Rumble. Thank the fans for embracing him. Hit his catchphrase to finish, so that's cool. Hopefully, and again, there could be a Paul Penta dynamic in there to build, right? Like, which, again, this men's Rumble is set up for. So obviously it's the main event, right? You think? Won't be the opener.
The only time the women's Rumble ever main evented was the first one.
Right.
So
Heyman to the ring to unveil the cover of the 2K25 because it's got Roman on the cover. He starts to use the Brock Lesnar catchphrase. He's like, I'm the 1 in 29, the one behind the one that's going to eliminate 29. So I'm starting to get nervous because there's a couple vague references to Redacted here. So I don't know. Roman's going to win the Rumble, obviously, he says. Drew comes out. He says that when he won the Rumble in 2020, he eliminated Roman Reigns and then he slayed Redacted at WrestleMania 36. Don't like these references.
No.
Drew told Heyman to tell his boy that he was going to target him, beat him within an inch of his life, and throw him over the top rope. Heyman says he'll pass the message on to the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. Drew says he wasn't talking about Roman. He was talking about his boy, CM Punk. So I kind of like that, too.
Because Punk is owed a favor, right? From
correct.
Williams.
There's still that looming favor.
An interesting thing, too, is that, well, partially because he's been runner-up so many times, but whoever's eliminated Roman has won the Rumble. But even, like, Roman was Final 3 in 2016 and Triple H won still. So it's like, I'm wondering if that'll continue. Probably not, because the chances are slim, but if Roman, I mean, there's a chance Roman could be runner-up, honestly.
There is. I thought Drew was good, and at one point because I hadn't even noticed, he was talking about, Heyman did this and that, and you ended up on the cover of the 2025 because in the bottom right corner is like Heyman down like praying or whatever.
Well, Heyman's also he's on the Super Edition, because the Bloodline Edition.
Yeah.
Has like everyone in the bloodline, and people have been joking that within a year of being here, Tonga Loa has been on a 2K cover.
Nice, and that's kind of what this was like. You made the cover even though it's barely in the corner. Like,
is he on the standard one?
Genuflecting to Roman Reigns. So Drew sounded great again. The main event scene is crowded with lots of guys interacting with each other leading into the Rumble, which I really like. We've talked about it before.
Oh, yeah, he is on the standard one, too. I didn't even notice.
So many possible winners of this Rumble. The funny part was, because it was one of those, when it's like, the image is on like a sheet, basically.
It's like
MJF's
flag.
And the bottom left corner got caught, and then you knew they were going to cut away and cut back, and it was fixed.
I saw that.
So McIntyre did beat Sami Zayn in what was the main event, I believe. Oh, no, there was a giant segment after. Beat Zayn. He had to put his feet up on the ropes after Drew avoided the haluva kick. I thought a really good 14-minute match, as you would expect. Again, one of those main events where you could argue either guy was going to win, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Sammy continues to never have beaten Drew, which is something they're working through here. Drew talks tough, has to win by cheating, and Zayn looks good since a guy like Drew needed to cheat to beat him, right? So it's kind of win-win for everybody there. After the match, Sammy briefly complains to the referee before Drew attacks. Cody runs down, hits a Cody cutter. Drew's out of the ring, but Kevin Owens comes in. Cody fights back, stomps KO in the corner before Drew attacks him from behind. Sammy then tries to kick Drew with the haluva kick, but Drew moves. And now this week, Sammy has accidentally hit Cody Rhodes with the haluva kick. Kevin Owen approves and is patting him on the shoulder and then just leaves, right? So again, more confusion with Sammy, and he's just kind of pissing off other baby faces because he's accidentally, unless he's turning heel or something, kicking them. So we'll see what happens there. Cody, my note says, Cody to the ring. How is he a babyface? Because again, first of all, he's really overacting.
He's
selling,
so self-centered, though.
And he's selling the effect of Sammy's kick still, so he's terrible at that. And then, it's about how great he is and how he works harder than everybody else, and he's the first one there and the last one to leave. He's just so arrogant. He is a terrible babyface. I don't care what anybody says. He is a secret heel to this day. Punk comes out. He's worried about Cody. He thinks that things are getting to Cody. Punk knows what a lengthy title run can do to someone. When you are the champion, you have a target on your back. All the stuff about sacrificing for your family, selling out stadiums, selling merch, etc. Oh, I don't think I mentioned. I think it was the beginning of this show. The baby that ended racism was there. Is now a small child that ended racism.
Child that ended racism.
Punk
I
says
can't wait to say the fully grown adult that ended racism.
when she makes her debut on Raw.
What would she be? Fourth generation, right? No. Yes. No.
I think
third generation wrestler.
Yes.
The third generation wrestler who ended racism.
That's it. Punk says somebody is going to be in the best shape of their life, win the Royal Rumble, and they're going to see Cody at WrestleMania, and that's the good news. Cody wants to know what the bad news is, and Punk said the bad news is that guy is Punk. While the other guys might stab him in the back, Punk is going to stab him in the front, which I thought was a decent line. Cody says the dynamic has changed now because Cody isn't chasing Punk. It's Punk who is chasing Cody. Cody hopes Punk wins at Royal Rumble because he wants Punk to catch up. Cody wants to see the look on Punk's face when he finds out that the best in the world isn't the best in the world anymore. And they stare down to end the show. Good interaction, really long, but they've done a good job again of building this Rumble.
Speaking of ending racism, a lot of people call him Cody Raheem Rhodes because the joke is that he's black because he ended racism.
He identifies maybe.
Yeah.
Shifting gears to NXT. We bookend this show with women's tag team matches, right? So it's Julia and Bayley, and I'd forgotten the build. So when I'm just kind of half paying attention, getting my stuff in order as the show's starting, and I'm like, oh, sweet, Julia taking on Bayley. And I'm like, nope, because they're taking on Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez in a tag match. Pretty good 13-minute tag match. All four working a pretty solid pace here. I feel like Jade was asked to do the least, which is the right decision, right?
Even though she's a TNA knockout now.
And this is just right. This is just furthering the Perez Bayley stuff. They seem like a collision course for a singles match.
I could see that being on the PLE.
I suspect that this is furthered in the women's Rumble.
Yeah.
Perez is there. Something goes down.
I'm not even going to pick her as a surprise.
And I'm fine with it.
I'm not going to pick her as a surprise ender for me because that just feels like a boring layup.
Yes.
She's going to be one, but it's not even really a surprise.
No, probably not. And I think if Perez can beat Bayley in her first program on main roster, that'd be a really good start for her, obviously. Eddie Thorpe has a vignette, and it's almost like his character shifting again because he was doing the whiny victim complex heel, and now it's just like he and his people have been overlooked for centuries. He stood up and got noticed. He's overcome obstacles and tested his body. We try and write him off, but he didn't write back, which I thought was okay. He forced his way into the main event scene, proved he belongs there. Debatable. He will make his mark in NXT, and NXT will understand Eddie Thorpe cannot be broken. He just is missing something, you know what I mean? There's just that
they were onto something.
Lack of charisma. Everything's fine, but he's just a bit hard to care about for some reason. He doesn't make that instant connection that, for example, Ricochet is with as a heel. You know what I mean?
Which is
crazy.
That's a crazy statement.
Crazy. I'm not sure he's proven he's belonging in the main event scene, but they tried him there at least.
I think he would be decent North American. They could go that route instead of Holland.
They could.
I'd rather them try him than Holland because Holland's been around.
Most details on this because I thought it was a good segment. Oba Femi's on the Grayson Waller effect. And so it's in Atlanta where Theory's from. So he gets a bunch of cheers and Waller's trying to keel it up from them because it's they're chanting ATL and then Waller's because they don't know how to spell the whole word. They were chanting A-Town down, and then he would have to be under. And then at one point, they were chanting turn on Grayson, I think it was. And he's like, don't turn on me.
But anyways. I think Thin Theory turned his back on him.
Yes, he did.
He's turning on
him.
He
did.
Well, because I said, they were teasing that last year when they were tag champs, and then they kind of dropped that storyline for a while.
They did. And the crowd was just having fun with it. So Waller mentioned Femi's the longest reigning North American champion, and Femi said that the NXT title is where it needs to be. Theory said that Femi started in NXT at 24 years old and has been taking over. Then Theory bragged about being the youngest U.S. champion of all time, and that while everybody else sees Femi as a main eventer on the main roster, Theory and Waller just don't see it. Femi reminded him that neither of them had ever been NXT champion, and that Femi accomplished more in 2 years than the two of them combined. Waller said he wanted to know if the hype is real and that he is winning the WWE tag team. He was winning the WWE tag team titles at WrestleMania 40, and Femi was in a suite sipping on a juice box, which is just a funny image. This giant dude sipping a juice box. When the ink was drying on Oba's contract, they were in 3 WrestleManias. Oba is NXT champion, but they're not in NXT. They're on Raw, and they've seen it a million times. Someone excels in NXT, but soon after, their ass is on the indies trying to sell t-shirts, which is not unfair. Oba says that they will They have all this talk about being champions and climbing the ladder at WrestleMania, but he doesn't see any titles. They're where they are because of their big mouths. Their lips, especially Waller's, write checks their mouths, their hands can't catch or something like that. Femi is building a legacy brick by brick, and if they like moments and PLEs and title opportunities, how about 2 weeks, Washington, D.C., Vengeance Day? Which one of you will step up? Ava walks out. She's tired of Obafemi making his own matches. And she gets cut off because Trick comes out because it looks like she's about to make a match with Femi and one of them. And Trick's like, no, I want my shot again. He says the title is his. This is Oba. Trick. The title is his. Ava knows it. He steps right up to Obafemi. They exchange a couple words. Trick takes out Theory and Waller, sends them to the outside while Oba's just standing there. Trick turns around, and I really like this. Femi just immediately pop-up power bombs him to fall from grace. Oba stands over Trick holding up the title. Again, Oba sounds really good. He's got this calm confidence, right? And playing off of super obnoxious heels like Waller and Theory really worked. They were really good in their role too. I liked Femi taking out Trick the way he did after he just sort of lets Trick deal with the heels and then kills him with his finisher right away. Long segment, but effective. And then we learn later that Ava is making the match both Theory and Waller taking on Femi.
That seems weird.
Because she announces one and Femi's like, okay, fine. And she's like, I'm not done. It's both.
It's just weird, like both main roster guys.
It's like she's
disconnected.
And she's a babyface GM, but it's like she's trying to screw over Femi here with two heels facing him. But anyways, Izzy Dames interviewed and says she has no relationship with Tony D. She basically says that Tony helped her when Spears was stalking her, so she helped Tony retain. Remember, she booted Holland in the face last week. Holland shows up, says there's something going on because he should be North American champion, not her. Stax walks up and says that's not how you talk to a lady. Officials have to separate them. So obviously, Stax is being fed to Tony as kind of the gatekeeper here. And Dames improved her look. She looked, I don't know if glamorous is the right word, but she's definitely different appearance. Trick has his match against Wesley, so it immediately follows him taking the fall from grace is the point. So he's still selling the effects of that as the match starts. It goes 10 minutes. Lee wins by DQ because Trick shoves the referee down, and then one of Lee's henchmen comes in with a chair. Remember, Trick boots it in his face. You were here for this.
Yeah.
And then Trick is wildly swinging a chair and not hitting anybody. Match was fine. I was annoyed because the ref let Lee's guys in the ring and didn't really do anything about it. I don't get they didn't lay hands on Trick, but they're still there, right? The point here is Trick has changed after losing the title. He's angry. He's out of control, which at least is something new. Like, we're not huge fans of Trick.
It felt kind of phony to me.
Trick's not the most sincere looking dude. He's like a sports entertainer. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it just felt like, I don't know. There was something that
it's different. There. Still not really connecting with me. Not the best look for Wesley, who couldn't beat a damaged Trick right after taking the champion's devastating finisher.
The supposedly like break loose beatdown he was doing to get the DQ looks so tame to me and just wasn't it? And
so Lee can't beat him after an Obafemi powerbomb and with the help of his two giant henchmen, right? So Igwe and DuPont, whose names I forgot.
That you did.
I guess it probably sets up Trick Lee at Vengeance Day, and then I assume Trick wins that, and we move on to Femi Trick at Stand and Deliver because we still haven't.
I suppose
we still haven't gotten their singles match, right?
Yeah.
Great. Right. Fallon Henley beat Shotzi to retain her North American title. I thought the match was okay. The story was Henley swinging Shotzi's leg into the ring post and then targeting that repeatedly. Shotzi hit her senton. She's just clunky and sloppy. So, you know, when you hit a senton, generally you're trying to hit the person and the mat at the same time to sort of lessen the impact. Full weight on Henley and a little bit low as well.
Yeah, makes sense.
I was worried that Henley would at least have the wind knocked out of her. She seemed fine. Henley did hit a nice exploder right before her finisher, which I said, the double entendre I enjoy. It's called the hoedown, which I like. Henley, so I said Shotzi's clunky, not a big fan. Henley's a good hand, but she is not super dynamic or interesting either.
Yeah.
Her title run, I think, is over with Vaquer, right?
It has to be, because I think they're trying to put stock into those new signings that they got.
And they need to sort of elevate this title, in my opinion, too. So I think that's what we're getting. Kalani's a bitch to Carmen, and Carmen Petrovich calls her out on it. So Carmen's trying to thank Kalani for coming out last week during her match, and Kalani's like, "You think I came out for you?" She's like, "I just came out because I don't like Jada Parker. It had nothing to do with you." And then she goes on to say that Adonis is just going to leave Carmen anyways. So she kind of walks out, and Carmen's like, "You're a bitch." But I think Kalani's growing a little bit in this role because I didn't cringe when she was delivering lines, which usually I'm on the cusp of doing with her because she sounds like just not good. But I didn't think she was terrible here. Ethan Page beat Cedric Alexander. The match was good, but it was like 10 minutes and Cedric got a ton. Like he's hitting all of his signature stuff.
Yeah.
And for a guy who you're trying to make Page this vicious heel, and he did attack Cedric's hand throughout the match, which is good, but Cedric never wins anything. And Page is in the midst of this push. So I don't understand how this played out. Javon Evans comes out after the match, attacks Page, sends him to the floor to check on Cedric. So obviously we're getting to the Page Javon stuff soon. So if you're an American guy and you've got a new Japanese friend, what would you give him to signify? Briggs.
A hot dog.
Yeah, a leather vest.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah.
Right? Nothing says Americana like a leather vest. So basically, he's returning the hospitality that Inamura showed him in Japan. Now they look like a tag team. They even say that out loud. Inamura really appreciates it. Cool. Main event was good. It's Belair and Naomi retaining their tag titles after 13 minutes. Botched pinfall in this. I don't know if you saw this anywhere, but literally, I forget which of the challengers was pinning which of the champions, but the ref literally had to stop the 3 count. And because I think the crowd thought there was a chance that maybe they shift the titles, like they were going bananas about it and were not happy about this botch here. And gone are the days where I don't want anyone to ever tell me again the refs are instructed to just count the pin. Like, because they're not. They don't. There's like myriad of examples of them not doing that. Yeah. So please don't anyone ever tell me that ever again. Lash really stood out here looking like a star. Belair too. The dynamic of those two powerhouses, and like they're trying to suplex each other and can't, and then they have like a joint kip up spot. Lash hit like a cartwheel standing moonsault that I don't think she's done before.
Yeah, that's the crazy spot I've seen. Yeah.
So Jackson didn't seem to do as much, and I think again that's a good choice. But this was a good match. It could have easily been on main roster somewhere. Good for Meta too. They are improving leaps and bounds, it seems like, and I think Lash may have a really good Rumble. I have a feeling she'll make it.
I feel like she could look good. Yeah, I'd like to see her in Jordan Grace probably.
Yes,
seems like a good interaction.
Did you see the little thing at the end of the show? So do you know what a test pattern is? Because they don't exist anymore. So back in the day when I was like your age and younger and whatever, TV channels would go off the air. Right. And it's that test pattern where it's like the vertical colored bars and then just like a boop.
Sure. Yeah.
So that comes up with WWE or something there. And I forget. And I'm like, what's going on? And then the text deletes and it's type Vengeance Day. So it sounds like somebody's making a debut there.
Walking weapon.
That would be awesome.
I feel like that's my front runner pick.
And again, NXT has gone with the, oh my God, they're hacking into the program a million times.
I think it's me just telegraph. I don't think it'll be
builds some intrigue for me.
I don't think it'll be like,
I'm not going to lie,
his gimmick.
No, I don't either.
Horrible, but
it's like, how many times NXT get control of your program? How many different people have hacked into your,
maybe he's got the TNA connection of Mustafa Ali.
I was just going to say, with their agreement, maybe it's Mustafa Ali running back his hacker, or Sami Callihan.
That's true.
Right? Could be any of them. All the hackers are there.
All the hackers are there.
That ends it for me. Did you have nothing else to add, right?
No,
SmackDown's yet to happen. So we are going to quickly, I think we should have time. We got a few minutes left. We're going to now shift gears into previewing quickly and making predictions for tomorrow's Royal Rumble. Let's talk Royal Rumble. I haven't put a lot of thought into it, but that's not true. I've sort of been thinking about things, I guess, over the weeks of watching Raw.
So I was thinking for the Rumble matches, for our winner picks, we'll do, I think we usually do 3 points for first pick, 2 for second, and 1 point for your last pick.
I like that because there's lots of options for the men right now.
Yeah, and then for the surprise entrance, I figured just keep it to 1 point for each. You don't have to do like confidence points for those or anything.
Okay.
But yeah, so first I have DIY and Machine Guns for the tag titles in the 2-3 Falls match, we get to predict a tag match. What are the odds?
Crazy.
Wow. I've somewhat kept up with the storyline. It seems like there's more of a thing going with heel DIY. I don't think they're going to lose just now because I feel like they got the belts really recently. I could see Machine Guns maybe winning the back later this year, but I feel like we stretch out the DIY run and eventually get a heel turn for Ciampa. Like a heel turn because they're heel. But like he turns on Gargano. That's what I'm saying.
Got you. I agree. I'm taking DIY. I'm not really up on the SmackDown stuff.
I'm looking forward to that match, though.
But I feel like DIY is more prominently featured than the Guns right now. And yeah, the match should be cool. So I will also take DIY there.
Then we got Cody and Kevin Owens in a ladder match for the undisputed WWE title. That one also sounds good. I would love for KO to get his win here. I think his work's been fantastic.
I would love to pick him.
And he's been great walking around with the illegitimate title, but the rumor mill for Cody's match is Cena at Mania, so there's no way he's losing here.
Right. I don't think I would love Owens to win too, and I would almost love to go out on a limb, but I'm not. I'm taking Cody as well.
Okay. So then Women's Rumble. I will list off the people for you, and then I'm thinking we go third pick, second pick, first pick. Like we'll each go. For, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Okay, so for the women, confirmed, we have Nia Jax, Charlotte Flair, Bayley, Naomi, Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Lyra Valkyria, Io Sky, and Ivy Nile. That seems weird to end off on.
Okay.
So for my third pick, it will spoil one of my surprise picks, but I'm taking Becky Lynch.
Same.
Really?
Yeah. I'm just writing it down now.
We're great. We're so interesting.
Yeah. I just literally had typed out my first pick, and then Lynch was the next one.
Okay. Is that your third? Like, is that that's your one you're least confident in for these?
Nope. I'll take that as my second.
You want to put that as second? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I will leave that there then. So then I'll ask you about your third most when I do my second then.
Yep.
Okay. So my second pick, because I've heard some things about it maybe, I'm going to go with Io.
Okay.
I'm taking
I hope so.
I think she'd be a cool first-time winner, and she's been kind of on the up.
She's been killing it in ring.
I could see her doing it, so I'm gonna take her. So then, what's your third most? Then?
It spoils another surprise.
Okay.
Jade Cargill.
Okay. All right.
Just because that's.
I was gonna take her as a surprise, but then I was like,
the look of her. I don't know what her status is. This might be a stupid pick if she is actually.
I don't think it's. I don't honestly know how bad her injury is,
or if it's real. I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't. That's true.
But I feel like this is the stage they would love to bring her back and have a million eliminations. You know what I mean?
So first pick, I don't feel proud about it, but I'm gonna take Charlotte.
Yeah.
I don't trust them.
Does that count as a surprise? Am I blowing all my 3 surprises right
No,
here?
Charlotte's confirmed.
Okay. So yes, Charlotte Flair is my.
You're fine for Charlotte.
Most likely to win.
Okay. Awesome sauce.
So I got to find one more surprise entrant then.
Okay, so for my surprise entrant, I already said my third was Becky.
Right.
Is that one of your surprises, or are you just going with her for win? Because technically she'd be a surprise.
I think I will take her as a surprise. Because I'm also confident in it. So I'll take Becky as a surprise.
Put her, since the order doesn't matter, I'm just going to put her at the top for yours. Okay, and then my second one is not like a surprise in terms of rumor mill, but technically it was be a surprise. I'm taking Jordan Grace because it's basically a lock.
I know. I don't want to do
that, but I do want to have like some sure thing.
So I've got Cargill.
I was thinking of taking Masha, but then I wasn't like 100% sure on that.
I'll take Masha then.
Okay.
That's cool.
I
would love for her to come in and just.
I think she will. And then
crush.
My top one, I wasn't fully confident about it, but then I like seen some people talk about it. I was like, I feel like there's a good chance now. I'm gonna take AJ Lee.
Okay, I feel like that's on a limb, but I feel like
it is, but I feel like it's more possible than ever.
I like it.
So that's like Jordan Grace is my lock. This one's my taking a chance on that. So what would your last surprise be? It's Jade, I guess.
Yes.
Right? You said.
Yep.
Okay. So I'll put that down as well. Awesome sauce.
I'm more prepared for this than I thought.
Okay. Men's Royal Rumble, same thing. We will go
winners first.
We'll go winners first, and then also least confident to most confident.
Okay.
So third, I'm gonna take Roman. Just him being there, I'm not like like I said, it's my least confident one, but I feel like there's a not zero chance that they A, wouldn't put him against Cody again, or B, do Roman Gunther, because that could be sick.
At least my third one, I don't really know.
That was me too. Is like I'm not fully confident on that, but I think Roman just being there is a thing in of itself.
True.
Oh, and sorry, I will list off everyone in there. I forgot to do that, so give me that.
Yes.
So
I need that.
Cena, Punk, Knight, Jay, Roman, Rollins, McIntyre, Mysterio, Zayn, Nakamura, Logan Paul, Penta, Gable, Breaker, Mello. That's half the field. Interesting.
Oh, definitely Mello. Just kidding. Do not put that down.
I would love that.
My third pick to win. All right, I'll go on a limb with this one. I'll go Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn. Ooh, I do like that.
I don't think it's possible, but
no, but I like that.
Send him some positive vibes, you know.
Agreed. My second pick, I do not feel proud about, but I'm gonna take Punk.
So he's my first pick.
Okay.
So I think we're reversing our first and second. I assume you've got Cena.
I have Cena first.
I have Cena second.
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
Now I have so many options for surprise entrants because of the combination with TNA now being official. Like, it really opens the door for a bunch. So
I was just thinking about Josh Alexander, but then I feel like he could be that NXT debut. So that makes me think he's not going to be in the Rumble.
Okay.
And also, I'm not banking on a ton of TNA guys being in it because they haven't done that as much.
True.
With, like, I don't know. I just don't. Anyways, so my number 3, or I guess my first one I'll go with is I feel like we could see The Rock.
Okay. I'm not picking him. So I like that.
I'm going to take it just because I don't know. I don't believe that he wouldn't. People have been joking that he'll come in at 31 just because he can.
I'll take Joe Hendry.
Joe Hendry. Okay, that's my first one. I'll say that right now. I have him because he's been rumored for a while, so that's my top one.
Yeah, I'll leave him at 3.
Okay.
I said he was 3.
It doesn't really matter.
I'll go there
with confidence on here.
Right. So it doesn't matter.
So that's my other one. You can go. What's your next one?
I will go with. I'll take AJ Styles.
AJ Styles, okay. I forgot.
Maybe going off script. And again, don't know his status. Haven't read anything. I'm just
I actually did forget.
It's been gone a really long time, and he would get a nice pop, right?
My last one is I'm banking on Big E to show up. I don't know his status either, but I just I feel like there's a chance they've kept super quiet about it, and just the timing with the storyline would be so great. Like, I wouldn't even imagine, like, Kofi tries to do a save spot again, Big E enters and screws him.
Okay.
Like, I feel like there's a not-zero chance, and I think the timing would just be kind of like AJ Lee. It would just be perfect timing if he's good to go.
Yeah.
Like I said, like AJ, I have no idea if he's good.
That would work. I'll take my third one. I'll go Oba. Just to get a taste of him in front of main roster crowds. And I could see him having some stare down moment that the crowd loves with some other big fella. I don't know who that would be. Gunther would be cool. I don't
know. Because he's champion.
He's not in there.
Sheamus,
but anyways.
Someone like Sheamus.
Yeah, something like that.
Some big guy who's going to.
But I'm really looking forward to the men's. Like, I haven't looked forward to an actual Rumble event
this much
in quite a while. They've done as someone watching Raw every week, they've done a really good job. Credit where credit's due, right? Like, again, the opposite is true of the women's Rumble, but the men's Rumble is stacked with a bunch of potential winners. At least
the one with more potential for surprises.
Even the link with TNA and the strength of NXT right now makes it the possible surprises a lot more entertaining.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm pretty excited. And the ladder match should be good. The 2 out of 3
I'm really excited
for
the tag match.
So it's kind of potential. Other than the women's Rumble, everything looks pretty awesome. So
the women's Rumble could be good. It just isn't it's not very set up.
Right. Okay. I think that's going to do it. We raced through that in 2 hours. Good for us. And 2 minutes to be exact. So we'll obviously be talking about Royal Rumble quite a bit. If it's awesome, maybe we'll get to it before 2:38. I say that all the time.
Get the worst of out.
It almost never happens. Worst of is somewhere. We'll get there.
In the pipeline.
Hopefully my workload slows down a little bit shortly and I can get around to it. We really do appreciate you taking time out of your week to listen to us come down here and talk about wrestling. We'll be back next Saturday to do it all over again. Hope to see you there. Bring some friends. Subscribe, like, whatever you need to do. Follow on any platform you can. We really appreciate it. We will see you back here next Saturday. Till then, everybody, take care.